We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
Hi, my name is Daniel Chavez, and this is my business partner, David Chavez. We are the owners of Indeed Safety. Indeed Safety is a local safety consulting company helping our clients with their safety needs for their projects.
One of the things we pride ourselves as a construction safety company is helping our men and women in construction get home safe every day to their families. Indeed Safety is a proud supporter of ProView Network.
Don't sacrifice quality and flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, red and green chili breakfast burritos, and Frontier Sweet Rolls.
Mitch, there's a line drive right at the shortstop for out number 3.
Apodaca ripped to left field. That will bounce in, so it's going to be extra bases as they'll have to chase that one at the wall in the warning track. Flipped up, there's no play at home. So it's an RBI double for Andrew Apodaca.
What happened to your voice? You all right? Just got to clear it? All right, now you turned that off.
Yeah, now I sound
Cough
much
into your
better.
sleeve, a big old phlegm ball, lung butter sitting there right on your elbow.
That's how they taught me to do it a few years ago.
That's, whoever they are, they taught you well. That's good. I had lots to do today. Looking forward. So if you don't even want to wait till next week, well, you can have game week this week. I got high school football tomorrow night. I'm going to a high school football. You want to go to a high school football game tomorrow night?
High school football, baby.
You pick up your
Go.
You pick up your passes yet?
No.
You haven't picked that up? All right, I got to go get mine today too. But yeah, high school football tomorrow. We're in it and it's fun. We're actually going to talk some high school football today. Who are the contenders? Who do you have to look for? Can't wait to talk to Sebastian Noel. I can't wait to talk to him about the breakout players and who's going to be who I've got to go see and who's going to be the contenders and who to watch and what players and what teams to watch. Sebastian Noel from ProView Networks. He's going to be with us at 7:30 this morning, and we're going to talk about high school football. They've got their first My 50 game of the week on Friday of this week. Here.
I'm excited because I know that over the last couple of years in the metro area, there's been an uptick in high school football. We've seen schools that have been down rise, see their numbers go up, a lot more young kids playing athletics, not just football, but in those athletic departments overall. And then the coaches, a lot of changes in the coaching staff across the metro area.
Yeah, no, I'm looking forward to it. I'll go to a game tomorrow night and get started. All right, National Football League, a lot of news yesterday. Anthony Richardson, as we told you while we were on the air yesterday, is the 4th overall pick, and he is the starting quarterback now for the Indianapolis Colts. And he said he was shocked when he heard it. I don't know that anybody should have been shocked. I think he was maybe shocked at the timing when he heard it. I think maybe he was shocked that he was told after one preseason game, which he wasn't great. But is anybody shocked that Anthony Richardson beat out Gardner Minshew and is the starting quarterback for the Indianapolis Colts?
No, especially when Jim Irsay has talked about how he needs to play, where they drafted him. He's 21 years old.
Mm-hmm.
and he just needs the reps. Now, I really do like his attitude, the way he has carried himself ahead of the preseason game, even just with this information. It's one, he can act shocked, like, oh man, I was shocked, but he has a really good vibe, an upbeat vibe. And when you listen to the Colts coaching staff, they appreciate how much he has bought in since he has gotten there.
So he said the news came, and honestly, quote, this is quote, honestly, I was shocked. And then he said that they, just hearing the words, you work for it. You didn't know when the timeline was going to be, but I was just looking forward to week one and being ready for the opportunity, getting thrown in the fire, hopefully. But then he told me, and I'm like, wow, it really happened. So I'm thankful. I'm blessed. Now you got to keep building on this opportunity, end quote. The thing coming out of the top quarterbacks, and I'll throw Levis in there too, right? So Bryce Young, C.J. Stroud, Anthony Richardson, and Will Levis. Those were the four guys, right?
Yes.
And Will Levis slipped to the second round. Everything we heard about Anthony Richardson was freak athlete, hadn't played enough football. He's the least ready to go right now in the NFL, right?
That was the talk.
All right, two of the other three are going to start. We're going to have three starting quarterbacks in the NFL. Bryce Young has already been named the starter in Carolina. I absolutely firmly expect C.J. Stroud to beat out Davis Mills in Houston, don't you?
Yes.
All right. Can you, and I think the answer is, to me, it's yes. Can you put a guy out too early and damage him as far as psyche-wise if he's not ready? Or is it one of those, throw him into the fire and he's got to learn, and the only way to get him better is to get him live reps?
I lean towards throw him into the fire,
okay.
And they need the live reps. They need to get used to the speed. That's something you see with C.J. Stroud and people just noticing the adjustment, because it is one where C.J. Stroud is very talented, but he was also on the field with a bunch of first and second round picks. And so they were faster than everybody else. He was throwing to open windows, and that's not necessarily what is happening at the NFL level. And that's got to be a feel of, do you think your team is good enough to help this young quarterback that is going to go through it, that is going to have their struggles? Because an interesting one last year was someone like Kenny Pickett, who that was a solid football team.
And they started with Trubisky.
Let Mitch Trubisky start before they went to Kenny Pickett. So I think it's just an element of where is the rookie when he comes in versus kind of what you have on your roster, because there are guys that fail. And is it because they were in too soon? Is it because the team was just bad? I do like, though, seeing these three guys top this draft class this year just to get out and go.
So I think it depends on I agree with you on who you have. I'm competing with Mitchell Trubisky, or I'm competing with Gardner Minshew, or I'm competing with Davis Mills, as opposed to I'm competing with Aaron Rodgers, right? Like Jordan Love. What are your expectations? I don't think there's anybody on the planet who, if you held their feet to the fire, including in those three buildings, Houston, Indianapolis, Carolina, that expects either of those three teams to be in the Super Bowl this year.
No.
Okay? I mean, even their head coaches, their owners, right? Nobody's saying we've got that team, right? Whether it's Carolina, Indianapolis, or Houston. So if you don't have those expectations, theoretically, it gives you leeway. It gives you some time. It gives you growth period. If those guys get drafted to, I don't know, Minnesota, Dallas, the Giants, Jacksonville, right? Teams that think that their window is now, then it's a whole different story. Hence the Jordan Love thing. I'm going to tell you, I'm going to reserve judgment if whether or not I think this is the right move. I'm leaning towards I think it is. Okay? I'm leaning towards, I know what Gardner Minshew is, and Gardner Minshew is probably going to be around this league for 13 years as a good backup. Right? Gardner Minshew is a character. Gardner Minshew seems like everybody likes Gardner Minshew. He can go out and win you a game in October when you need one. He seems like a good guy. Like everybody seems to like him, and he's a fine quarterback. I don't think Gardner Minshew's got the chance to be your franchise guy. So if you're who they are, and you put that equity into him, And you believe he's ready. The only way this, to me, blows up is if he's just flat out not ready. And he goes out there and gets beat up and he gets hurt in his psyche. And I haven't seen enough of him. He took a few snaps in an exhibition game last week.
I think someone like Anthony Richardson, with his athletic ability, that's going to help him get out of some trouble in situations. And so it's interesting. It's what are you looking at for Anthony Richardson? You definitely want to see a completion percentage at least 60% or above.
Okay.
And that's baseline number for the NFL. But with how raw he is, the questions at the skill position for the Colts right now, just kind of looking at who he's throwing to, baseline, 60%. And maybe, 600-700 yards on the ground from him, rushing-wise.
Okay.
Some
Look,
stats
he's
to look at
big,
this season.
strong, athletic. I mean, that's he's a freak athlete, right? And there's been plenty of guys. Wasn't it when Lamar Jackson came into the league? Weren't there people saying, "Yeah, he should become a wide receiver"?
Oh yeah,
right. Deshaun Watson somewhat the same way, right? I think people have somewhat got over that. Now, Antoine Randall became a receiver instead of a quarterback when he came out of Indiana. I mean, there have been other guys who have moved from Julian Edelman was a quarterback at Kent State, and he wasn't good enough at a quarterback, big enough to be a quarterback in the NFL, and he had a hell of a career, and we're talking about a borderline NFL guy after his career in the NFL as a receiver, right? So guys have made the move to stay in the league. Zach Gentry was a quarterback, now he's an NFL tight end. He just re-signed a deal. But they see enough in this guy as an athlete and as obviously as a passer, and not just an athlete, to be the guy. So that it's going to be interesting. I'm going to reserve total judgment. I lean towards I think it's the right move because why not? I mean, honestly, if as long as he's not going to go out there and just embarrass himself and damage his own psyche, and go get him the reps and go get him better. And I think that's where you are too.
Oh yes, I'm right there with these guys. There's not a perfect way to do this, but I want to see my top pick just go out there and get the reps. And even if it is a year where it's ugly at times, the record's no good, like you got that out. Because look at it for Justin Fields. Mm-hmm. Now it's year 3, so it's a little different. But last year's first time they just let him go. Like, all right, this is your team, just go. And while, yes, Chicago only won 3 games, but you saw the athleticism, you saw that confidence grow, and all of a sudden coming into this year, you're expecting Justin Fields to have that team competing for a playoff position.
All right, we got a lot to do this morning. There'll be more NFL. There's conference chatter. I don't know if there's any movement, but there's a lot of talk, a lot of reporting going on in regards to what's going to happen in the next phase of conference realignment. Let you know where that goes. When we come back, there's a story out, and it's a really interesting question. CBS Sports and Will Brinson, who's a respected CBS reporter, asked the question, is Russell Wilson washed up? Is he? And why does he say that? I might lean his way, and you may hate that. It's the opening drive on 95.9 FM and AM 610, the Sports Animal.
Makes a little sports.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
Hi, my name is Daniel Chavez, and this is my business partner, David Chavez. We are the owners of Indeed Safety. Indeed Safety is a local safety consulting company helping our clients with their safety needs for their projects.
One of the things we pride ourselves as a construction safety company is helping our men and women in construction get home safe every day to their families. Indeed Safety is a proud supporter of ProView Network.
Don't sacrifice quality and flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, red and green chili breakfast burritos, and Frontier sweet rolls. 4 great locations, or visit us online at goldenprideabq.com. Golden Pride Barbecue Chicken and Ribs are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
Sometimes it's the small things that make life easier, like never worrying about being declined at an ATM when only cash will do. With You're Covered from US Eagle, we'll cover you, even if the money's not there. That's a good feeling. And we do it with no extra fees or penalties. It's called trust, and we think that's important, especially if we're asking you to trust us. At US Eagle, that's just part of what it means when we say people mean more.
These are more than just the sounds of a safe place to go after school. These are the sounds of interest being ignited and of mentors making an impact. At Boys and Girls Clubs, we don't do just one thing. We do whatever it takes to meet the needs of every kid who comes through those doors. Because whatever it takes is what it takes to build great futures. Great futures start here.
We fight the battles no one hears about.
We drop into the middle of firefights to rescue others.
And act as one-man air traffic control towers. We're the ones who go before all others.
U.S. Air Force Special Warfare are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
Hi everyone, my name is Master Sergeant Jacob Groves. I am a Air Force Special Warfare pararescueman. Air Force Special Warfare are proud supporters of ProView Network and New Mexico Youth Sports. Air Force Special Warfare operators are critical thinkers. They maintain a high level of fitness, they take initiative, and they don't quit. For more information on Air Force Special Warfare, contact me at the number listed below.
U.S. Air Force Special Warfare are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
So is Russell Wilson washed up? Right? I mean, he was fine during preseason. Is that what you told me? Like, we sat around on Friday night. We were all at dinner, and I saw you shaking your head when you looked at your phone, DC. Like, what happened? You all right? You know, your wife's not here. Your kid messed up your jacket. Did he destroy your jacket? Or even more chocolate on your nice suit coat or something? But no, Russell Wilson was getting banged around, was what you were reading on the Twitter, right?
Yes, I was, and they were definitely correct.
All right, when you went back and watched it, was it him or the line?
A little of both.
Okay.
I think the line needs a lot of help. Ray Powers, Ron Powers, sorry. I hope he gets healthy and he can lock down his position because I think he got burned a bunch of times. But Russell didn't really do a lot to help himself either, so I would say a little both.
So here's the knock on him. Yeah, he was getting beat up. He didn't have time. He didn't step in any throws. He didn't seem comfortable. He didn't seem quick in the pocket. Now, he's playing for Sean Payton, so he's going to get compared to Drew Brees, right? Because he's playing for Sean Payton, because he's a small quarterback, because he's a small quarterback who's won one Super Bowl. I mean, there's a lot of comparisons to Drew Brees, but that's unfair, right? And they've been compared for years. Brees dropped back, moved the pocket, scanned the field quickly, got rid of the ball. Russ. And the way this story says it, Brinson says, Russ looked like someone listening to a podcast at half speed while sitting in quicksand. I'm not sure he stepped to do a single throw on Friday night. I mean, I don't know that that's completely inaccurate.
No, that's really accurate, actually.
Week 1 of the preseason is a really tough time to say definitely the dude's done. It's like Anthony Richardson. I'm not ready to tell you he's arrived because of week 1 of a preseason, right? But you know where I am. I told you before, I thought he was done. I thought Russ is cooked. I watched last year. I saw nothing that made me feel like there's a confident leader of a quarterback there. Do you buy into this whole he's timid, he's not stepping into it, he can't move as well? Look, what is he, 30, 35, 34? How old is Russ? I mean, you can't expect
34
him to move like he did. You guys watched Denver pretty closely. Is Russ done?
Russell Wilson was pressured at the highest rate of anyone in the preseason.
That's correct.
Minimum 5 passing attempts. Yeah. So it's such a small sample size, but he took more pressure than anyone else. And we're talking Bryce Young, CJ Stroud, guys that were like, oh my gosh, they didn't have any time. And I think it's a confidence thing with that whole offense. And the reality is, what you expect out of Russell Wilson, you're never getting that. So this is a failure for the Broncos. Like, Russell Wilson is not going to be able to assert himself as a top 7 quarterback in this league. And you bring him over, and that was the thought of now Russell Wilson is going to allow the Denver Broncos to compete for the AFC. They can finally end that streak of losing to Kansas City all the time. And he's not going to be that dude. So could he get better in certain areas? Could that offense look better? Yes. But it's never going to live up to the expectations that you had when you brought Russell Wilson in. It was always going to feel like a failure.
Yeah, that's a really good point. That expectation going in, in Denver, they thought they got a top 5 guy.
You guys, it was a year ago now.
March 8th is when they got him.
Yeah, but a year ago now, you were going into this first camp, and he was going to be the guy, and they were just a quarterback away. And they have this new coach, Nathaniel Hackett, who was so great with Aaron Rodgers. And now we got Russ and Bronco Country. Let's ride. Bronco Country, let's ride. Bronco Country, let's ride. Bronco Country, let's ride. Bronco Country, let's ride.
That is a really good impression.
Are they still running that crap, by the way?
No. Now it's Go Broncos.
Now it's just Go Broncos. And then they would get his ass kicked, and they do some really somber press conference. All right, guys, thanks. Bronco Country, let's ride. And get up and leave the press conference. Like, what the hell was that?
Yeah, I don't know. I wish I had an answer. That was probably the most cringeworthy.
100%.
Yeah, he earns all of it.
All right, but that was 1 year ago. That was one season ago. He was going into his first year as the savior of the Broncos. They were a quarterback away. He was that quarterback. They traded 2 first-round picks and Noah Fant and Drew Lock and New Mexico green chili because it's better than Colorado green chili and whatever they sent to Seattle and they got Russell Wilson. And he was like he still is a $250 million quarterback. That wasn't that damn long ago. That was one season ago. Like right now, a year ago, we're all Russell Wilson. Hey, let's ride. Yeehaw! Bronco Country. Let's ride. Nobody feels good about Russell Wilson.
No.
Not even Sean Payton, man.
It's interesting because right now, as it sits, I bet Bronco Country would feel, if he was a middle of the pack 15 or 16 guy, they'd be feeling good about it, but he is not.
Hell yes, they would. If he was Ryan Tannehill or Daniel Jones.
They would love to have Daniel Jones
right now. They'd feel great right now. I asked that question months ago. Russell Wilson or Daniel Jones? Well, I don't know. Is it really that hard?
Not anymore.
After one preseason game, you've slipped over the other way.
I was never on board with Russell Wilson, so it's tough. I want the best for him, but I never saw it personally.
All right. Will Brinson asked another question, that same story. What if Jordan Love is good? I mean, what if Jordan Love is good?
Then the Packers are the luckiest franchise in the history of sports.
So, yes, that's probably right. Well, lucky or, I mean,
the luckiest franchise
they drafted this dude
in the history
in the first round
of sport. You go from Brett Favre to Aaron Rodgers to if Jordan Love is good.
So he looked in command. He put touch on the ball, the touchdown pass. He looked like he belonged. Now, he's a third-year guy, but he's a first-year player. Is there a guy, and you don't have to be a Packer fan, like, do you find yourselves, and I know we're not supposed to root, but whatever, we're human beings and we like sports. Do you find yourself rooting for him? You know where I stand because, the relationship that, I don't say we have a relationship, He played in New Mexico Bowl, won MVP. I spent a little time with him. I really liked him. And then I watched him, and I feel like even if I didn't know him, I watched what he went through, and he has done nothing wrong. He got put in such a crappy situation. And his whole class of quarterbacks, you already know what they're going to be, or you think you do. You've got your impression. And he got put in such a bad situation by no doing his own.
For him, he can turn it into a positive because you've talked so much about you like when these guys are able to sit and then come in and play after taking some time. Yeah. And I would love for Jordan Love to pop because do you know how great that would be for the Mountain West Conference to say they have 2 NFL starting quarterbacks?
Josh Allen and Jordan Love, yeah.
2 of the better ones.
Well, I mean, if he pops.
Or even just the guy that we're putting in that 15, 16 range where you're a solid NFL quarterback because the whole world just loves the American Athletic Conference because they have a deal with that 4-letter network and a little bit more money. And everyone thinks they're the greatest. And you can be like, hey, man, you come play football in the Mountain West Conference, you can start in the NFL.
Yeah, we're going to have to get into that, too, because there's a lot there. By the way, another Mountain West Conference quarterback. You see Jake Haener play this weekend? Played for the Saints, 10 of 17, 105 yards, threw a touchdown, interception. Another New Mexico Bowl alum, Fresno State guy, who is vying for the job to back up Derek Carr, who is a Mountain West quarterback. So that would be 3, right? Derek Carr is a Mountain West quarterback. Fresno State.
Yes,
so that
totally.
would be 3. Yeah.
Spacing that, I don't know. I was thinking WAC.
Yeah, no, he was Mountain West. Absolutely Mountain
West. Yeah, I remember the highlights.
Yeah.
Him and Devontae Adams.
Yeah, 100%.
Against that Lobo secondary.
Yes.
You know, when you throw out Carr, because I think he's going to be a top 10 guy.
I think he's going to be good, too.
I think Love pops, too. The Mountain West probably has 3 of the top 10 quarterbacks.
If Love plays.
Assuming he does, but I think he does. I
think Carr would be a fringe top 10. Allen absolutely is, and let's see where Love is.
Carr is going to surprise some people, man.
Yeah,
he looks good.
I think Carr's going to have a great season.
He is. He's going to be midseason one of those names that they're throwing around for MVP.
As he was kind of 2 years ago, midseason, and
Correct.
he kind of fell off a little bit. All right, when we come back, I'm really excited about this, and I can't wait to talk to Sebastian Noel of ProView Networks. We're going to talk because high school football starts tomorrow, and there are some names and some players, and I know you hit this time of year. All right, who's good, who's not, who do I need to watch for? And Sebastian knows it so well. I am super excited to talk to Sebastian about who I've got to watch, who you've got to go watch. Sebastian Noel from ProView Networks. Next, he's going to tell you who you have to go see on the opening drive on 95.9 FM and AM 610, the Sports Animal.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
We fight the battles no one hears about.
We drop into the middle of firefights to rescue others.
And act as one-man air traffic control towers.
We're the ones who go before all others.
U.S. Air Force Special Warfare are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
These are more than just the sounds of a safe place to go after school. These are the sounds of interest being ignited and of mentors making an impact. At Boys and Girls Clubs, we don't do just one thing. We do whatever it takes to meet the needs of every kid who comes through those doors. Because whatever it takes is what it takes to build great futures. Great futures start here.
Well, I'm going to the frontier, walking to the cashier, order up a root beer and a number one. Cover it with green stuff, one scoop is not enough. Find a booth is real tough, backed by the Duke. Meet my family, meet my friends in the quirkiest restaurant I have ever been. All of Albuquerque's favorite spot. It's the Frontier Restaurant.
The Frontier Restaurant is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
Sometimes it's the small things that make life easier, like never worrying about being declined at an ATM when only cash will do. With You're Covered from U.S. Eagle, we'll cover you, even if the money's not there. That's a good feeling. And we do it with no extra fees or penalties. It's called trust, and we think that's important, especially if we're asking you to trust us. At U.S. Eagle, that's just part of what it means when we say people mean more.
Don't sacrifice quality and flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, red and green chili breakfast burritos, and Frontier sweet rolls. 4 great locations, or visit us online at goldenprideabq.com. Golden Pride Barbecue Chicken and Ribs are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
Hi everyone, my name is Master Sergeant Jacob Groves. I am a Air Force Special Warfare Pararescueman. Air Force Special Warfare are proud supporters of ProView Network and New Mexico Youth Sports. Air Force Special Warfare operators are critical thinkers. They maintain a high level of fitness, they take initiative, and they don't quit. For more information on Air Force Special Warfare, contact me at the number listed below.
U.S. Air Force Special Warfare are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
ProView Networks would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. Hans Whitler Automotive, German car maintenance and repair in Albuquerque, New Mexico. Call 505-294-7684 or visit hanswhitlerauto.com.
NFL kicks off 9 days until college football season, and 1 more day until you can go watch high school football. It's legit around here too, and there's some good ones to open up the season on this opening weekend. There's Thursday and Friday games. It'll be your first My 50 Game of the Week from ProView Networks, and so it is time to catch up with our good friend, the guru, the friend of the people from ProView Networks, and you'll listen to them on their games, My 50 Games of the Week, and, of course, across ProView Networks throughout the high school season. Sebastian Noel, happy fall. I guess it's fall, or at least fall season. What's up, my friend? How you living?
Good, yeah. Football's finally here.
It's I'm at it on Thursday night. I'm going. They bringing out the lights at Academy. I'm going to the first game of the year. It's a big deal over there. I can't wait to hear everything pop and go. All right, start us off. Like who are the must-sees, Seabass? Who do we got to go see? People are listening and they're going, okay, what do I need to see? The teams, the players.
Well, I think at the beginning of the season, the schedule tends to be littered with a lot of really good non-district games. So this is when you have a chance to go out and see some contenders, right? You mentioned Academy. I'm really, really eager to see what Coach Lee's going to do there. Coach Lee's been the X's and O's guy behind some really successful programs and head coaches. Now he finally gets to run his own show, and I think he'll do a great job there. So Academy will be a team to watch after they've lost some people. The buzz around Valley is what I can't believe.
Everybody loves them.
I can remember just a few years ago talking to Judge Chavez about, there's 20 kids in the program. He's got to walk the halls to get kids out. And to hear that there's over 100 kids in the program, they're going to be fielding a C team, a JV, and a varsity, that's great news.
Numbers are a big deal. All right, there's matchups. Like I look at this first weekend schedule, and I see right off the top, you're going to show me Rio Rancho at La Cueva, and you're going to show me Cleveland at Centennial, and then Belen and Los Lunas. And like, yes, and yes, I'm in. And I'm only in because I know traditionally they're really good. Are those matchups as good as they traditionally are?
Yeah, I think that could be the final. That could be a Final Four.
Really. Rio Rancho, La Cueva, Cleveland, Centennial.
Yeah, I think Volcano Vista will have something to say about that. But if the playoffs started and those were the 4 teams in the Final Four, I don't think anyone would be surprised.
And then you talk about Volcano Vista. They're at Las Cruces, so they're going to get a test first week of the season too.
Yeah, and that's always tough to, you're just back in school, you haven't had that much practice, then you got to hit the road for a Friday or specifically a Saturday game down south. That's a tough test right off the bat for these teams.
Sebastian Well, ProView Network's joining us on the Sports Analyst. Sebastian, who are some of the names that will be stepping up at these schools when we're talking about the power teams? Everyone just, all right, Cleveland, Rio Rancho, but who are some of the names? Because at some point in time, you're going to have to graduate and move on to the next level.
Yeah, I mean, let's start at the power school, right? Cleveland, the defending champs. I think the names you're going to hear a lot this year, obviously, are Stratton Schufelt, who's already got a ton of D1 offers. His teammate in the linebacking core there, Madrano, I think he's going to go D1 possibly. So obviously their defense, their offense they're replacing a lot on that side of the football. Now I've heard some great things, so I think the offense will be fine. But their defense with Schufelt and Madrano, they're so big at the DB position. So those 2 names there. You go over to La Cueva, obviously Mason Posa is the returner there that everyone's going to be talking about. Huge presence defensively. They have Cam Dyer, who gets his turn at quarterback after Aiden Armenta graduated, so he'll be one to watch. And then they have a transfer from out of state, Kobe. He already has 6 D1 offers, Kobe McGill.
And he landed at La Cueva?
Including Washington, including Oregon, including the Lobos. And he's a little guy, 5'6", but he is quick. I went to their scrimmage specifically to see him, and he's going to be turning some heads. He's got a way they use him at the slot, they use him at running back. He gets into empty spaces. His vertical is just through the roof. So I think those are the names you watch at La Cueva. You go over to Volcano Vista. Obviously, Elijah Gonzalez there, the A-Train, they call him, the running back. So, there's some really special athletes at those contenders.
Sebastian, the big thing, too, is just generating interest and getting students excited in athletics. And we know New Mexico is so diverse, especially Albuquerque. And, there are 4 black head coaches that were hired. Now, 6 of the 23 in the metro area, you have black head coaches at these high schools, along with everyone else. How does that help just the diversity of high school football, getting new people in there, getting people excited to play sports?
Yeah, I think it's tremendous, obviously, but getting to know most of those guys, especially Coach Brody at West Mesa and Coach Flakes, I know pretty well. They're good dudes. They're good football coaches. They're good guys. They care about kids. They care about their programs tremendously. So, I obviously saw that article, saw the picture. I'm super excited for all those guys. And, West Mesa, that's a team you got to watch. You got Elijah Brody there at quarterback.
He's still there, right?
Such a special athlete. Yeah. He could do it.
He's Sebastian Noel with us just for a few minutes from ProView Networks. I look at coaches around here, and it's you go to communities, any community. High school football is so entrenched, and coaches stick around for a while. I love the mix we've got, right? And there's some guys who've been around here for a minute now. You talked about Judge Chavez at Valley, Charlie Dotson over at El Dorado. I mean, there's guys who've been there, and then there's a really good crop of good young coaches, most of whom, not all, who have grown up playing football here. And I think it's a really, really good and exciting mix, and it's good to see some of these non-traditional powers becoming much stronger programs. Don't you agree?
Oh, absolutely. I think, and you're only going to see numbers. Well, I think Valley's the testament to that, right? You see the numbers increase. And I think, some of those coaches you mentioned, like Coach Chavez, Coach Dotson, in a moment of truth, if you got them in a room, I think at some point even they will admit, hey, as I continue to do this longer and longer and longer, I have a little bit of trouble relating to kids, right? Because it's just natural. The age gap grows and grows and grows. So to see some of this fresh blood throughout the city, and to see a coach that can, I have athletes tell me this all the time, especially in basketball, when the coaches can still get on the court and show them versus tell them, That makes a big difference. So that relatability factor with those new guys, I think it's just great to see, Jeff.
Well, I'm going to tell you, and Judge is one of the first guys. In fact, he called the show, DC. He's when we're talking about Bobby Newcomb. Judge Chavez was Bobby Newcomb's high school coach, and he called the show. We're talking about Bobby. He's 27 years ago when I first got here. I remember him out on the sidelines at Highland yelling. But the guys that I've met over the years who played for him flat out love Judge Chavez. Like, we'll go to bat for him, go run through a wall still at an adult, grown-ass man age, run through the wall for Judge Chavez.
Yeah, and that's the special relationship that coaches build, right?
Yeah, I think that's what's so special about it. All right, what's the My 50 game of the week, and how do people get it? And if you have DirecTV, you better get rabbit ears.
Right. Yeah. Well, the My 50 game of the week is Rio Rancho and La Cueva at Wilson Stadium. Yeah, I guess there's still that. I'm not a DirecTV customer, but I understand that dispute is still going on. So, Game Vision is where these games will be streamed from APS sites, right? So you can go to GameVision.io or just head over to ProViewNetworks.com. Until that's, they always magically figure these things out by the time NFL starts. So hopefully they'll figure it out in a couple of weeks. But if they haven't, then, streaming might be the best option there, because we got a lot of games that first week. Bernalillo and Valley will be at Academy there for that Rio Grande Academy game. We'll have the Chili Roasters Cup, the Len and Las Lunas,
so big,
as well. And then Saturday we'll be a Sandia versus a Trisco. We'll also have the Mayfield Manzano game. So streaming is probably the best bet at the beginning.
No, it's a big deal. And we're going to have Darren on from Game Vision, I believe, tomorrow. But we're going to talk about how people can get it, because it is a little bit different than it has been in the past. But it sounds like you guys are going to be able to have so much more content available as you go forward this year.
Yeah, I mean, and I've had a chance to speak to Darren a little bit, and his vision, certainly, I hope you guys get into that, as, not only just broadcasting, but then the analytics piece that he wants to add and all those things. But really, when it comes down to it, this is just a great thing for APS to be able to, raise some money and give back to these athletic programs. So that's really the thing with Game Vision, is it puts the control into the schools and how they can advertise and how they can raise money for their programs, and it's a great thing. But from a fan's perspective, I think once everything gets up and running with the analytics pieces added later on, it's going to be a whole new viewing experience.
We're going to get into that 9:30 tomorrow morning, boys and girls, with Darren from Game Vision, and you learn about the whole new viewing experience and what's in it for you as a fan, because it is all relatively new. And we'll do it tomorrow. Hey, I'll see you. Sounds like I'll see you at Academy tomorrow night. Maybe I'm certainly going to try to get to that Rio Rancho La Cueva game, which is down the street from my crib on Friday. So I'll come by and see you. Have a great season. Always great to catch up. Good to hear your voice.
All right, guys, be good.
Be well. He is Sebastian Noel, the voice of the people, and it's good. Did you look at the slate of games this weekend?
It's very good.
I mean, like he said, you go Rio Rancho La Cueva and Cleveland Centennial. That could be our Final Four when we hit November.
Easy.
And great games all over the place. So go out and catch them. And as we go through it, we're going to keep you abreast on who to watch, how it's going, and catch up with Sebastian throughout the season intermittently. And, I mean, I'm going to go out and listen to the Paz Pop tomorrow night. It's going to be fun. You want to come?
If it was at Rio Rancho High, I would, because it's right down the street.
On the other side of it. You're over at his hood.
Yeah. But I that place is packed every time there's a game. You can hear it from my house. Like I'll go there this year.
They care.
Yeah, quite a bit. It's very obvious too.
They care. All right, coming up is it a Watson wake-up call in Cleveland? It's time for Deshaun Watson to be Deshaun Watson. Is he getting a wake-up call? We'll get into that next. Hey, you got an alarm at your business. You got an alarm at home. You got cameras, security cameras everywhere. It's still not enough. Can I suggest you call IPS? International Protective Service. I did years ago. They patrol my home. I see Officer Crespin on a regular basis. They come by they're by every day. And when I go out of town, they come by and do external checks, pick up newspapers and mail, roll out garbage cans to the curb and back on garbage day if you need them to. If you have a package dropped off, they'll take it off of your porch so somebody else doesn't, and give it to you when you get back. Don't wait to be a victim of vandalism and theft. IPS offers standing guards and 24-hour patrols. They'll protect your home, protect your business, and when your alarm goes off, they respond quickly, within 5 to 7 minutes, to prevent loss and damage to your property. It's private security, and it can save you money. 505-897-2420. 505-897-2420 or online at ipsglobal.com. IPS, making Albuquerque a better and safer place to live and work.
Sponsored by Blindster.com.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
ProView Networks would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. Hans Whitler Automotive, German car maintenance and repair in Albuquerque, New Mexico. Call 505-294-7684 or visit HansWhitlerAuto.com.
International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
Hi everyone, my name is Master Sergeant Jacob Groves. I am a Air Force Special Warfare Pararescueman. Air Force Special Warfare are proud supporters of ProView Network and New Mexico Youth Sports. Air Force Special Warfare operators are critical thinkers. They maintain a high level of fitness, they take initiative, and they don't quit. For more information on Air Force Special Warfare, contact me at the number listed below.
U.S. Air Force Special Warfare are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
For your surprisingly great rates, contact your local State Farm agent today.
If you want the real deal, call State Farm agent Marty Size in Albuquerque today.
Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
ProView Networks would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. Hans Whitler Automotive, German car maintenance and repair in Albuquerque, New Mexico. Call 505-294-7684 or visit HansWhitlerAuto.com.
We fight the battles no one hears about.
we drop into the middle of firefights to rescue others.
And act as one-man air traffic control towers.
We're the ones who go before all others.
U.S. Air Force Special Warfare are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
Well, I'm going to the frontier, walk up to the cashier, order up a root beer and a number one. Cover it with green stuff, one scoop is not enough. Find a booth is real tough, back by the Duke. Meet my family, meet my friends in the quirkiest restaurant I have ever been. All of Albuquerque's favorite spot, it's the Frontier Restaurant.
The Frontier Restaurant is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
Don't sacrifice quality.
Sports Animal.
Want to do Red Zone today too? Do a little NFL, big topics. Pick a time, boys. I know it's on the rundown sheet, but I just kind of want to go. I don't know. Want to go rogue today? Where do you want to go? 8:30 today. 8:30. We're going to do Red Zone today. Here's your Red Zone rundown. That's when DC fires some big NFL topics at us, and JJ and I let you know what we think. It's the opening drive. Glad you're with us on The Sports Animal today. Cleveland Browns went out and spent more money than anybody, on guaranteed money anyway, on a quarterback. Quarterback had to sit out 11 games last season because he likes massages. He likes the massages a lot. Can't find a good masseuse. That's why I went through like 200 of them. How many did he go through? Wasn't the number like north of 200 or something like that? But there were like 20-something cases against him, lawsuits. Browns and Eagles are holding joint practices. Watson threw 3 interceptions yesterday. They're in a tough division, in a tough conference. When you tell me AFC, right? You tell me 3 teams off the top that you are absolutely 100% sure are going to be in the playoffs, right? Kansas City, Cincinnati, Buffalo. Wrong?
Nope.
All right. When you tell me that means 4 other teams are going to make the playoffs, one of them's coming out of the AFC South, probably, you believe Jacksonville, right?
The favorites.
All right, so there's 4. That leaves 3 wild card spots left. Who's going to get those spots? Well, what would you say? Well, gosh, Aaron Rodgers and the Jets, they look really good. Watch them on Hard Knocks last night. All right, I like the Jets. And, wow, I mean, Justin Herbert and the Chargers, they're terrific. Really like the Chargers. And, Lamar and the Ravens, okay. Well, they're all right, well, who else? I mean, who else is going to contend? Well, the Dolphins are really good. Tua, there's Bill Belichick. Kenny Pickett and the Steelers seem to be good. Well, where's Cleveland, man? And I told you I think Cleveland is the biggest wild card, and Deshaun Watson in particular, to me, is the biggest wild card in the NFL this season. If he doesn't perform, they don't make the playoffs. And so, JJ, you asked the question. Anything less, well, I don't even think you said it as a question. You said it as a statement. Anything less than the playoffs is a failure.
Because when you look at Cleveland, they're a very well-constructed team. They have solid defensive pieces. Offensively, while the wide receiver core might not be one that you put up there with the best in the league, Amari Cooper is a very good number 1.
Yep.
They brought in Elijah Moore, David Njoku. They have a RB1 that they feed the football to constantly in Nick Chubb.
They got a stud.
And so Deshaun Watson, like, his expectations should still be there. And we just talked about Denver and their miss so far bringing in the quarterback Russell Wilson. Well, this is not one where we're looking at Deshaun Watson falling off a cliff due to age or not having it. It's, are you there mentally? Are you able to lock back in from just not playing football with what you did to yourself and the expectations that you have having a fully guaranteed contract? And we're talking about just the misses and the failures, and that would be the biggest one. If this is not a playoff team, then if you're Cleveland, what else are we supposed to do?
Look, I'm with you. And I think everything you said, they're set. First of all, the defensive front is really good. Mm-hmm. Really good. Okay? I mean, top few in the league good. their defense, the rest of their defense should be really good. They've got one of the best 4 running backs in the league in Nick Chubb, right?
Yes.
Our top 5 at least.
I mean,
they've got Amari Cooper, who is a second tier. You're not putting him in the very, very elite, but he's the next tier receiver. Njoku became a receiver. They've got everything except for quarterback. You asked the question, would it be the biggest swing and a miss at a quarterback in recent history if they don't make the playoffs? Do you remember what they traded for Deshaun Watson and the amount of money they gave him? So they traded first-round picks in 2022. That was last year. 2023, which was this year. 2024. So 3 firsts and a 2023 third-round pick and a fourth-round pick in 2024. Texas gave him back a 5th-round pick in 2024. So they traded 3 firsts, a third, and a fourth, and gave him $250 million guaranteed. Bigger bust than Russell Wilson? I mean, it's along those lines, isn't it? Can you throw the Trey Lance thing in there, potentially? By the way, for everything they gave up? When we come back, how much is too much to give up for a quarterback? Because we've had this conversation constantly, and JJ, you've made the point, nothing is too much to give up for a quarterback because you need one, you can't win without it. Well, how much is too much to give up for a quarterback, and is that package right there maybe it? Got a ton to do this morning. We're here for you at 505-246-0610 on 95.9 FM at AM 610, The Sports Animal.
Telling it like it is.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
For your surprisingly great rates, contact your local State Farm agent today.
If you want the real deal, call State Farm agent Marty Size in Albuquerque today.
Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Hi, my name is Daniel Chavez, and this is my business partner, David Chavez. We are the owners of Indeed Safety. Indeed Safety is a local safety consulting company helping our clients with their safety needs for their projects.
One of the things we pride ourselves as a construction safety company is helping our men and women in construction get home safe every day to their families. Indeed Safety is a proud supporter of ProView Network.
Would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. Hans Whitler Automotive, German car maintenance and repair in Albuquerque, New Mexico. Call 505-294-7684 or visit hanswhitlerauto.com.
are more than just the sounds of a safe place to go after school. These are the sounds of interest being ignited and of mentors making an impact. At Boys and Girls Clubs, we don't do just one thing. We do whatever it takes to meet the needs of every kid who comes through those doors.
5 years running. It's the OD in the AM with 3-time New Mexico Sportscaster of the Year, Jeff Symbieta, and JJ Bond.
I don't think anybody's going to argue with you that to win at the National Football League level, you need a quarterback. You need a good quarterback. Well, Jeff, Trent Dilfer won a Super Bowl, and Brad Johnson won a Super Bowl, and Mark Rippon won a Super Bowl. Okay. Yes. You can have a run. It can be done. You can win a Super Bowl with an average quarterback. If you've got a great defense and everything falls your way, yes, you can win one. You can, right? But the trend tells you there have been 57 Super Bowls, okay? There have been 57 Super Bowls, and the majority were Mannings or Elways or Brady's or Bradshaw's or Montana's or, right? I mean, we can go down it. Yeah, there's about 5 or 6 or 7 of them where you say, well, what about that guy? Okay, you're right. There's always an exception. Okay? But for the most part, and none of those exceptions were sustained. None of those exceptions were sustained runs, sustained contenders, right? Trent Dilfer and that Ravens team with Trent Dilfer didn't threaten to go back a number of times, right? Mark Rippon didn't threaten, and I'm a big Mark Rippon guy, but he didn't threaten to go back with Washington a bunch of times, or Brad Johnson in Tampa Bay, right? I mean, so yeah, you get the one-offs. So we're all in concert here, right? To be successful as a franchise and have sustained success in the NFL, you've got to have a quarterback at the very good level. You don't have to be elite, but we all agree? Yes. All right. We agree. I contend, I think you guys are on this. Quarterback is the most important position in American sports. Unless you're Messi, and all of a sudden you can completely transform the world and put him on a team that nobody ever even heard of, in a league that nobody was watching unless you had the Apple TV, and people are wearing pink jerseys now everywhere, and Messi scoring everywhere. Unless you're Messi, right? By the way, that's
unbelievable.
Insane. Yeah, no, that's insane. That's insane. All right, so how much is too much to pay for a quarterback? How much is too much to pay for a quarterback? And, JJ, you've contended many, many times, we've had this conversation countless, that nothing is too much. When the Browns made the move for Deshaun Watson, now look, Deshaun Watson was different because of all the off-the-field stuff, because all the noise around him, because of the lawsuits, because of the nature of the lawsuits, because of the despicable nature of the lawsuits, because of everything, and he had to sit out. There was something else. But when the Broncos traded for Russell Wilson and gave up, 3 firsts and 3 players and a second and a third, whatever the hell it was. You were all about it because you said, all right, they're getting a franchise quarterback. They're getting what they need. They gave him $250 million, right?
Yes.
Were you on board when they did that too?
No, I was not.
Why?
Okay. Going back to the Wilson deal, he was plan B, so it didn't make sense. But with Watson,
he was plan B because they can get Rodgers.
Correct.
Okay.
Very correct. So with Watson, I had a hard time with that because of all the off-field stuff and that. And I just thought it was so bizarre that they're going to guarantee so much money. So when I saw that, and knowing that we didn't know what his future was, I found it very bizarre that you were going to give away that much for someone you couldn't even guarantee would be on your team.
Okay. I was on board with the Wilson thing at the time. Kind of. I thought they gave him too much money. I thought maybe they gave up a little too much. But JJ kind of got me to the point where, well, you're a quarterback away, and you went out and got a top tier quarterback, and now he's not. Okay. How much is too much? And how can you be sure? Right? Give me one that worked, where a team went out and made a gigantic trade.
Matthew Stafford.
That's the one, right? And they got one Super Bowl out of it, and now they are a below-average team in the NFL, right? They absolutely were last year. They were the worst record of a defending Super Bowl champion in the history of the NFL. The Rams were last year. Now, he got hurt.
That's what changed.
Yeah. Okay.
Because these deals are not as crazy as people think about them. What I think pushes the Denver one over the top is the amount of players that they added to it. Because Russell Wilson, Matthew Stafford, those 2 first-round picks.
Mm-hmm.
I think when you
and Jared Goff went the other way.
But 2 first-round picks, and then so everyone thinks that the Rams don't have a first-round pick forever. No, there's other deals in that.
Do you consider
I think
Jared Goff to be a first-round? I mean, he was a first overall pick in the draft.
The performance of Jared Goff in Detroit does not change my mind about that Matthew Stafford trade.
No, nor should it. Everybody won that. Everybody won that.
You asked the question, how much is too much?
Yeah.
And 2 is very fair for a quarterback. Now, if you're getting more than that, be a little leery of a team if I start to get 3 first-round picks. But 2 is for a good NFL quarterback is a base price. The Aaron Rodgers deal feels like a steal for the Jets if they are able to at least win over the next couple seasons in this. And really it just makes it that much worse for Denver when Geno Smith goes off, Seattle goes to the playoffs. You see the players contributing and then the picks for a guy that does nothing.
Well, so I look at it. So was this too much? 3 first-round picks, a third, and a fourth for Deshaun Watson, and then you guarantee him $250 million. It felt like too much then. It feels like too much now.
That was a desperate franchise because they
totally fair.
Because Deshaun Watson still had the option to say no to that, and that's why they had to guarantee him all that money so he'd say yes.
So is there the Stafford one is really good. History of the league. Quarterbacks who have been traded, not free agents, right? Derek Carr was a free agent, right, this year? Quarterbacks who move teams. And we're having 2 different conversations. I'm trying to think of trades, not even free agents, although it's hard for me to come up with free agent guys who moved a lot. Drew Brees would be the one, right? When he left the Chargers, when the Chargers said, we don't want you because of your shoulder surgery, he didn't pass the physical in Miami, so where he wanted to go, so he went to New Orleans and won a Super Bowl. I can't give you a ton of – in fact, I'm really struggling now to find another one where a quarterback got traded. That was Peyton Manning traded to the Broncos? It was free agent, right?
Yeah, he got cut by the Colts.
Okay. I'm struggling finding a guy who was a quarterback that got traded that had great success, that the team who acquired that quarterback was stoked that they did it.
Matthew Stafford is going to be one of the best trades in NFL history for a quarterback that is involving first-round picks.
Yeah.
Most of the time, you're getting the quarterback for their prime, and then at the end, they might bounce around in free agency.
Well, yeah, take me to that step. Give me a quarterback. I mean, there's a few, right? The free agent. Brees and Manning both won Super Bowls with their second
Tom
team.
Brady.
Brady at 40, whatever years old, won the one in Tampa Bay. I don't have a bunch of free agent quarterbacks who moved around. Jim Plunkett was, way back in the day with the Raiders, and I don't recall if they got him with a trade from New England or if he was free agent. But Jim Plunkett, we're talking the early '80s when he went from New England to the Raiders. By the way, he should be in the Hall of Fame, Jim Plunkett. But I don't have one, guys. I just there's not a whole lot of guys on second acts. Second teams who were, good with their first team. It didn't work. Stafford, Brady was great with his first team and went over. And so I go back to the initial point on this. It's why teams invest so much in the draft trying to hit, right? That's why when you hit with Aaron Rodgers, when you hit with Tom Brady, when you hit with Ben Roethlisberger, when you hit with Josh Allen or Patrick Mahomes or Lamar, you do everything you can to hold on to them. Because the majority of great quarterbacks. Now, John Elway was not drafted by the Denver Broncos, but he said, I will not play for the Baltimore Colts. It was still Baltimore then, right? He threatened because he was also drafted by the Yankees and said, well, bleep it, I'm going to go play baseball. and he forced his way. Eli Manning was not drafted by the Giants, but he never played with the Chargers. He said more so his daddy. He's the only guy I ever knew. I'm not going to San Diego. I don't want to live there. It's the only person ever said I don't want to be in San Diego.
I still consider that
their
draft.
initial team.
Yes.
Yeah, because they made that Phillip Rivers Eli Manning swap. Yeah,
draft day.
But that was their initial teams. They never played for other teams, right? Their rights were held by other teams, but they never played for other teams. It's really hard, guys, to go through the league and find guys second act who were really, really successful in their second act.
If you go back to
Kurt Warner.
That's actually really good. Actually, that's really good.
I was looking in 2000.
Yeah, it's been a while.
So, and do you remember what he did in between the Rams and the Cardinals? Do you remember?
He was back up to Eli.
He started I think the first game with Eli, didn't he? But he was with the Giants. Yeah. He was backing up Eli. Yeah, that's really good.
Yeah, you go back to Kurt Warner in 2000. There's Brad Johnson year in there with Tampa Bay.
Okay.
But then you look and it's Brady with the Patriots, Roethlisberger with the Steelers, Manning with the Colts, Peyton Manning with the Colts, Eli Manning with the Giants. Then you get the Drew Brees free agency year. But then even Baltimore, when they won, it was Joe Flacco, who they drafted.
So there's your one-off, right? I mean, you're going to tell me Matt Ryan, but Matt Ryan was a really good quarterback. Well, he didn't win.
No.
So Joe Flacco's your one-off. He was a quarterback that wasn't very good. That's not fair. That was an average quarterback because Joe Flacco had a great year that year.
He did. And
By the way, if you look at his numbers that year,
his numbers in the postseason were insane.
He was insane.
Let me tell you and this one is a hard one. I was at that game, the divisional game with Broncos and
you just hurt your boy. Look at JJ's face. You just hurt your boy.
That was the tough go, man, and it was freezing cold. So I'm sitting in the stands. There's a guy in front of me who has taken off his shirt, big guy.
Oh.
He tells security he's not putting it on until Broncos score again.
He still hasn't put it on.
Hasn't put it on.
It's like man. Matt Holiday still has not touched the plate.
No, Sean. Just get the first down.
Matt Holiday's chin hit the side of the plate in the game 163. There's physical evidence of that against the Padres and the Rockies to the postseason. Safety.
Yeah.
Your job is to drop back.
I know.
Raheem Moore, drop back. Do not let a pass go over your head. You are the safety.
You just opened a wound, dude. You opened a big wound. It's taken him all these years to finally get over it, and you just opened that gigantic gash.
You know, it was weird. I saw Joe Flacco in a Target when he was a Bronco. Nicest guy in the world.
I forgot he was a Bronco. I'm not going to lie.
Nicest guy in the world. But I wasn't sure if I should love him or hate him. It was very difficult.
How'd you feel about that when you saw him? What was the emotion?
I was there buying toothpaste with my daughter. It was very random, and I see this tall guy with all these kids, and I immediately know who it is.
That's not Phillip Rivers. Wait, it's the other guy with a bunch of kids.
Yeah, exactly. But at first, I didn't even want to say anything, but I finally did. That play.
You
that
say
game,
bleep you or I like you?
I said it's nice to meet you. Have a very good year.
Well, that's very nice.
Yeah, try to take the high road. But there was a part of me who was like,
it's very cordial. Look what you did to your boy over here, man. He's just cranky.
My apologies. I do it to myself too.
When you open those wounds, though, those kind of games.
That one in particular.
But he was unbelievable.
He was, and he was taking a gamble on himself. So I've always respected that. He was a free agent that year and didn't sign the deal because he wanted.
And then he got paid, and then they were like,
paid.
"What?" Yeah, and they overpaid him, but whatever. They paid in retrospect for their Super Bowl, right? But he was in the MVP conversation that year. Joe freaking Flacco. Now people forget how good he was for that 1 year. Now, to me, that was different than the Rippon years, the Brad Johnson years, right? I mean, JJ, who else? Like you've got it all in front of you probably, but when you look through we've
hit him this in terms of since 2000, the Super Bowl champion.
So this century,
it's like Roethlisberger, Manning's, Brady, Rodgers had a year.
Yeah, let's go back. I mean,
but it's Drew Brees
and Mahomes,
Matthew Stafford,
Tom Brady.
But Tom Brady in Tampa Bay, when you are talking about the free agent quarterback.
Well, here's your Super Bowl winning quarterbacks, man. Yeah. I mean, go backwards. It was Mahomes, it was Stafford, it was Brady, it was Mahomes, it was Brady, it was Brady.
The Eagles one in there where Carson Wentz kind
That
of
was
set
Foles.
the tone,
That was
but
Foles.
Nick Foles won it,
Yeah.
so we can give him credit.
That's a good one. Foles is a one-off, right? Like I told you, every 9-10 years there's a one-off. There's a Nick Foles, or there's a Brad Johnson, or there's a Mark Rippon, or there's a Phil Simms, right? Yeah, but you want to play those odds? Nobody does. 505-246-0610. If you got one, I'm listening. But how much is too much to pay for a quarterback? You can get in on that, and would love to hear from you. All right, when we come back, are there big college moves coming? There's a lot of rumblings about what's happening next with realignment. You may not like it. I don't know. Well, it's not good, some of the rumblings for New Mexico, but I think they're just rumblings. And until something happens, let's see. But I'll tell you the latest that we're hearing. It's the opening drive on 95.9 FM and AM 670 Sports Animal.
This report is sponsored by Taco Bell.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
For your surprisingly great rates, contact your local State Farm agent today.
If you want the real deal, call State Farm agent Marty Size in Albuquerque today.
Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Hi, my name is Daniel Chavez, and this is my business partner, David Chavez. We are the owners of Indeed Safety. Indeed Safety is a local safety consulting company helping our clients with their safety needs for their projects.
One of the things we pride ourselves as a construction safety company is helping our men and women in construction get home safe every day to their families. Indy Safety is a proud supporter of ProView Network.
Networks would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. Hans Whitler Automotive, German car maintenance and repair in Albuquerque, New Mexico. Call 505-294-7684 or visit HansWhitlerAuto.com.
These are more than just the sounds of a safe place to go after school. These are the sounds of interest being ignited and of mentors making an impact. At Boys and Girls Clubs, we don't do just one thing. We do whatever it takes to meet the needs of every kid who comes through those doors. Because whatever it takes is what it takes to build great futures. Great futures start here.
As a mom, I try to make the best choices for my family and our health. That's why I choose Western Sky Community Care. It's a Medicaid plan with quality health coverage and special benefits like Boys and Girls Club membership credit, additional dental benefits, and wellness and support programs. I decide which Medicaid plan is right for us. I choose Western Sky Community Care.
Learn more about Western Sky Community Care by visiting discoverwesternsky.com today.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. Everguard Roofing and Solar. For nearly 20 years, Everguard Roofing and Solar has been working with New Mexicans to enhance their homes and businesses. For all your roofing and solar needs in New Mexico, call 505-821-9543.
Just search KNML.
All right, so I just saw a tweet from a guy named Barrett Sallee. Barrett Sallee is he does college football at CBS Sports and CBS Sports HQ and some Sirius XM college football. And this tweet basically explains in a nutshell what's going on and why things are going on with college football and realignment in television. He said ESPN primetime game on week 0. This is next week, next Saturday. UMass versus New Mexico State. The Pac-12 network primetime game on week 0 will be number 6 USC versus San Jose State. More people are going to watch UMass and New Mexico State than the number 6 team in the country with the defending Heisman Trophy winner. And I know you're sitting there going, yep, and especially if you're an Aggie fan, yep, that's damn right. We got ESPN, and they didn't. And therein lies the issue of why these teams are bolted. Because the Pac-12 TV deal has been so bad. Because nobody can get the Pac-12 network. Because their answer was, yep, let's put everything on Apple and stream it. And as much as you want to complain, and if you don't like ESPN and, the 4-letter network, okay. But people watch them. People watch that network. I don't know. Is it still your default when you look for sports? Do you still go to ESPN 2?
It's always usually right there.
Kind of do. Hit a sports bar. Tell me what's on most of those screens up there.
Oh, it's all ESPN.
All right. And therein, and this is nothing against New Mexico State or UMass. I'm going to watch it because it's football, and I'm interested to see what New Mexico State's going to look like. By the way, their quarterback, Diego Pavia, from Volcano Vista, is going to be with us on Friday at 9:30. Okay? He was the MVP of the Quick Lane Bowl going into his senior year. Looking forward to hearing what he thinks about this team. And all of a sudden going into a league and having expectations. I can't wait. I'm so excited to talk to him on Friday. I can't wait. But does that kind of illustrate right there, that tweet? Nothing against New Mexico State and UMass. But if you're SC, and you think you are what you are, and you kind of are, right? You're SC, you're the brand. I got the defending Heisman Trophy winner. You guys probably going to be the number 1 overall pick. I'm opening up at home, and I'm open on the Pac-12 network, and that's on ESPN. Way more people will watch that period, no doubt.
Yeah, the Pac-12 network was an utter failure. Just not being able to get that distributed, not being able to get that out there.
It's brutal.
And here we are.
Yep. All right, I don't know where this is going. I saw a report yesterday, and this was an unsubstantiated report. I couldn't find any validation to it. So I'm just going to tell you what's out there. I'm not going to tell you that this is happening. But there was a report that said that the Pac-12 basically had an agreement with 4 teams from the American. So this is Stanford, Cal, Washington State, and Oregon State to stay together and bring in SMU and Rice, and Tulane and Memphis and maybe South Florida. And so basically be 8 or 9 teams this year and then wait another year and then bring in San Diego State, Boise State, and Fresno State. Now, I haven't seen any validation on that. I haven't seen but I've been hearing those rumblings. Regarding Gonzaga and UConn going to the Big 12, Brett McMurphy from the Action Network, who's usually really, really good, said he spoke to Brett Yormark, the commissioner of the Big 12, and said those conversations are no longer. Unfortunately, things didn't work out only because the dream scenario unfolded for us, and that was adding the 4 corner schools. So if the Mountain West can find a way to stay together and bring in Washington State, Oregon State, can UConn and or Gonzaga be part of what they're doing here?
I don't think UConn would be.
I agree with that.
I think you might be able to catch Gonzaga's attention if Cal and Stanford were in it. Because right now, too, you're just looking for stability. This size matters in this. So in case you lose some teams, your entire conference doesn't fall apart. If 9 of them decide to leave, then it doesn't matter what you do.
Well, there is nothing. If 9 of them leave, then
what? And I'm wondering, where is CBS and Fox Sports in this? How much do they want to also have that West Coast presence, to be able to say, hey, we have the league on the West Coast? Because everyone is saying, well, the Mountain West would have to find a way to split this money, then have to find $10 more million.
Right.
Go to your partners. Fox and CBS are still big dogs in this. I get it's ESPN, and that's a platform everyone wants to be on.
And that's why the ESPN's got to deal with the American, and that's why the American is a player in this.
But Fox and CBS can highlight your product. If you are good, the SEC went to ESPN. Like, there's opportunities on Fox and CBS, and we're talking linear networks, linear TV, where you can be highlighted on the Fox game of the week, the CBS, not CBS Sports Network, CBS game of the week. And I really would like to know, where do they stand?
Well, I think there's conversations going on, right? Yeah. Is there money? Can you get us to where the American is, or $1 more? And then all of a sudden, Cal, Stanford, Washington State, Oregon State aren't talking to them. Now, that would be if the PAC disintegrates. What the PAC is trying to do is hold together and bring teams into their deal.
Or would that
under the PAC banner, and Stanford and Cal are all over Rice, Tulane, SMU, because they feel it fits their academic profile.
It does not fit your money profile.
Well, Boise State doesn't fit your academic profile. I mean, nothing against Oregon State and Washington State, but they're not Stanford Cal, right? Now, Tulane's really good, and Rice is unbelievable.
You can see it from Stanford's standpoint of how they want to hold to academia.
Okay.
But sometimes, what game are you playing, man? Because you can say, hey, we want to align with like minds. No one's paying $7 for Rice. Unless you get it at the corner store.
It better be a bunch of Rice.
Like, oh, we're bringing Rice. Oh, yep. Now I have to flock to my TV because academics.
It would be interesting to see if Rice joined the PAC. What is their potential? I was on their campus this summer. It's beautiful. They're in Houston. If they have that kind of money, and I don't even know what that kind of money means anymore, what could they become? Would they always be an after-ram? And by the way, Tulane, what has Tulane been except for the last year, football-wise? Did you ever watch a Tulane game before last year? And you probably didn't even take notice until October. And then they won the Cotton Bowl and beat SC, and all of a sudden, wow, we need them in our league. Memphis? But it's going to be all about the money and the academics from Stanford, but those markets. So the Mountain West, hopefully the Mountain West is really, 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 really aggressive right now, because the reports I saw yesterday have me super concerned, especially for New Mexico and what's going on around here. And when we come back, it's Red Zone time. We're going to hit 4 big topics in the National Football League. DC will throw them at JJ and I, and we will discuss. You're welcome in this morning, as every morning, at 505-246-0610. That is the Sports Animal Hotline. It is also the text line. And emails, Jeff@sportsanimallabq.com, JJ@sportsanimallabq.com. It's the opening drive on 95.9 FM and AM 610, the Sports Animal.
There's a line drive right at the shortstop for out number 3.
Apodaca ripped to left field.
That will bounce in, so it's going to be extra bases as they'll have to chase that one at the wall in the warning track. Flipped up, there's no play at home. So it's an RBI double for Andrew Apodaca. Runner at third. High leverage spot. Can Chavez keep the tie? No, that's going to be cracked into left field. It's a base hit as Love puts the Sandia Matadors ahead for the first time today.
The 0-2. It's upstairs, goes to the backstop, and the run will not score. Gun down at home.
Chavez rocks and fires. Ahmed, that's going to be an RBI for Ahmed as that one right through the gap in right center. Petrie will scoop that one, and it's looking like a triple as Ahmed plugs into third base, and what a way to score that run for the Matadors.
Coach Romero barking out his orders there to his players. He's been around the game for a long time. Nice shot to center field. That'll bring runners in. Just like that, La Cueva will bring 3 runners in to go up 3-0. Runner advances to third. Shot to center. That looks good. That's gone. Man, outstanding center shot there. As La Cueva will score. Antonio Lucero, second baseman, quite the hitter. Shot to third, and good catch, and she gets the out. Outstanding play by Trinity Bazan. Nice bright spot.
Costly errors allowed Cleveland to get 1 run back. That one sit on the ground to the left side. Throw to first in time. Throw home. Got her. Whoa, what a play.
Next door or something. Not sure, but they came out here, and Ellison cracks an RBI out to left field. That's where you got to do it. 1 run, 2 run, and this game could very well be over. It's a play at the plate. It's sliding, and that will do it. The Rams walk off the La Cueva Bears. It's a 3-run batted in shot by Dean Ellison.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
Hi, my name is Daniel Chavez, and this is my business partner, David Chavez. We are the owners of Indeed Safety. Indeed Safety is a local safety consulting company helping our clients with their safety needs for their projects.
One of the things we pride ourselves as a construction safety company is helping our men and women in construction get home safe every day to their families. Indeed Safety is a proud supporter of ProView Network.
Don't sacrifice quality and flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, red and green chili breakfast burritos, and Frontier sweet rolls. 4 great locations, or visit us online at goldenprideabq.com. Golden Pride Barbecue Chicken and Ribs are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
Sometimes it's the small things that make life easier, like never worrying about being declined at an ATM when only cash will do. With your covered from US Eagle, we'll cover you, even if the money's not there. That's a good feeling. And we do it with no extra fees or penalties. It's called trust, and we think that's important, especially if we're asking you to trust us. At US Eagle, that's just part of what it means when we say people mean more.
It says even Tom Brady, who walked into an ideal scenario in Tampa Bay and would soon thereafter suck, was more the beneficiary of a good team than he was great. I'll give you that. But, well, I don't know that he sucked the final year. I don't think he was good. But, yeah, don't you think he was Tom Brady pivotal in winning that Super Bowl?
Yes.
Yes, absolutely.
He was the difference, right? All right, then he says, in the crappy Peyton Manning, won a second Super Bowl as well as the never best in the league. Terry Bradshaw won 4 Super Bowls, showing the team sport of football needs a good quarterback. I'm not sure the point then. And then he said, didn't Plunkett get traded to the Patriots and do well? No, he went from the Patriots to the Raiders. I'm not sure what the point is.
That Tom Brady take is still off, by the way, even though they finished 8-9.
The second year?
No, the third year.
I mean, the last year, yeah.
It was 11-5, 13-4. Wasn't the year the Rams won the Super Bowl?
Yeah, they beat
that was one of those games where
crazy game.
It was just like Josh Allen losing to Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah.
Like there's nothing else.
Stafford came back and hit Cup late in the game, and yeah,
him to do. That's such a bad Tom Brady.
He was on the bench. He let it come back, looked like they were going to win, and then Stafford let it come back in the last. Yeah. All right, this one says quarterbacks that moved either by free agent or trade. Steve Young from Tampa to San Francisco. Jim Plunkett, we talked about. Brett Favre. People forget he started with the Falcons. That's really good. Got his team to an NFC Championship game, and Kurt Warner was a great call. Jeff Hostetler of the Raiders and the Giants. Rich Gannon. All right. This says, did Doug Williams and Steve Young get traded from Tampa Bay and do well in Washington and San Francisco? They get traded? Maybe. That's actually, those are good too. Doug Williams is a good one. List: Steve Young, Kirk Cousins. Do you put Kirk Cousins on that list? Second act after leaving Washington, did pretty well.
Yeah, that's pretty fair. I didn't think of that, but
no,
because he hasn't won.
Got to beat the Giants in the playoffs.
Okay, all right. If you don't put him there, that's I think that's on.
I'm talking about
that's borderline
championships right now, like contending for Super Bowl.
Yep. Kurt Warner, Jeff Hostetler, Giants to Raiders. Rich Gannon, Vikings to Raiders. Jim Plunkett. Then this one says Nick Foles. We hit on Nick Foles. And then on the last subject we were talking about, the conference realignment, it says, why didn't or doesn't the Pac-12 just go with Fox and Sports Illustrated and CBS for broadcast network deal? Well, I think they talked to everybody. I think they talked to everybody, and it's not like, hey, here we are, sign us up. The numbers just didn't work for them. Remember, the reports are out there that ESPN offered the Pac-12, what was it, $30 million per team, and they said, we want 50, and ESPN said, deuces. See ya. We don't have time for you. All right, did I eat up all the time? We're going to have to push the red zone into the next segment, aren't we?
Sure.
Yeah,
do that.
We're going to put red zone into the next segment. I wanted to get you up to date on these.
Another one I'm thinking about, and granted he didn't get a championship, but Michael Vick, when he came back with the Eagles, was pretty good on his second act.
Yeah, that's good. It's actually really good.
When we talk about Brett Favre, I mean, you could talk about the Jets and the Vikings, really. I mean, no championships, but his
Vikings one was solid because they got. Didn't they get to the NFC Championship?
Yes,
They
did.
They did.
And that was the one. Remember, Greg Robinson was paying the Saints players to do the illegal hits, and
that was the Saint Gate or whatever. What gate was that?
One of those gates.
Bounty
Gate. That's right, Bounty Gate.
Yeah. Greg Robinson was the defensive coordinator, and some paying you if you took him out. That's interesting. Bigger bust, says Richard. You guys, this is going to kill you guys. Russell Wilson or Chris Bryant? Chris Bryant was the Cubs star of the Rockies signed.
Oh, my goodness. Yeah.
Chris Bryant signing made 0 sense for a team that was nowhere near winning.
You said that day, too. JJ said it the day that the Rockies went out. It was like, all right, we got a bunch of money. Who's left on the free agency? Let's go sign a guy. And is he still on the roster?
I think he might have played more games for the Isopes than the Rockies by this point.
It's fair. Yeah, those were both bad. Bruce is in on UMass. That's the University of Massachusetts. Jeff, remember Lobo fans yawning when Fearless Dougie, that would be Doug Martin, rode off into the West Texas sunset in a generic polo shirt after a dramatic 2021 season-ending victory? Who did MSU beat was their OD cry. Well, Lobo football better blew UMass out after talking all that trash. Yeah, Lobos will play the UMass week 4 this year. DC, you don't remember, Doug Martin was the former coach at New Mexico State. And Doug Martin came on this show a number of times that year on Tuesday mornings and blew up New Mexico State.
I think that either the last interview or second to last interview we had with him, he just took a blowtorch.
How they don't have the resources and the commitment and the money, and they can't win here. And then he wouldn't wear the team logo. He was just wearing the Under Armour logo. Remember during games?
Mm-hmm.
But he did win.
Good old Jerry Kill comes in.
Yep. And by the way, Jerry sounds the same way at 2 p.m. as he does at 7:15 in the morning. Just so you know. He sounds. It's just the way some people speak. You know what I'm saying? All right, Red Zone. When we come back. All right, On the Spot Automotive Detailing now, because you should call them now, or at least get a hold of them at otsdetailing.com. Who are they? What are they? They detail vehicles, and with there's nobody better. They detail your vehicle at your convenience, wherever and whenever it works for you. So they come to you. I don't know where they are. They know where I am. They are in my parking lot while I'm in the office, and they detail the vehicle. On the Spot Automotive Detailing makes this hectic time for parents so much easier with a beautiful, clean car. You got French fries. You got junk. You got stuff all throughout. Your car stinks. Then look around. You're in it right now. Call OTS. When they're done detailing your vehicle, and you'll be in your office working, you'll go outside, and you're going to be amazed. Everybody's going to be staring at it going, how do I get that done? Well, it's pretty easy. Inside, outside, under the hood. Like the day you took it off the lot, that's how nice it is when they are done. It's one of your biggest investments. Protect one of your biggest investments. On the Spot also offers a 10% discount to our military and our teachers. Learn more and schedule online. It's otsdetailing.com. That is otsdetailing.com.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
Hi, my name is Daniel Chavez, and this is my business partner, David Chavez. We are the owners of Indeed Safety. Indeed Safety is a local safety consulting company helping our clients with their safety needs for their projects.
One of the things we pride ourselves as a construction safety company is helping our men and women in construction get home safe every day to their families. Indeed Safety is a proud supporter of ProView Network.
Don't sacrifice quality and flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, red and green chili breakfast burritos, and Frontier sweet rolls. 4 great locations, or visit us online at goldenprideabq.com. Golden Pride Barbecue Chicken and Ribs are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
Sometimes it's the small things that make life easier, like never worrying about being declined at an ATM when only cash will do. With You're Covered from US Eagle, we'll cover you, even if the money's not there. That's a good feeling. And we do it with no extra fees or penalties. It's called trust, and we think that's important, especially if we're asking you to trust us. At US Eagle, that's just part of what it means when we say, people mean more.
These are more than just the sounds of a safe place to go after school. These are the sounds of interest being ignited and of mentors making an impact. At Boys and Girls Clubs, we don't do just one thing. We do whatever it takes to meet the needs of every kid who comes through those doors. Because whatever it takes is what it takes to build great futures. Great futures start here.
We fight the battles no one hears about. We drop into the middle of firefights to rescue others. And act as one-man air traffic control towers. We're the ones who go before all others.
U.S. Air Force Special Warfare are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
Hi everyone, my name is Master Sergeant Jacob Groves. I am a Air Force Special Warfare pararescueman. Air Force Special Warfare are proud supporters of ProView Network and New Mexico Youth Sports. Air Force Special Warfare operators are critical thinkers. They maintain a high level of fitness, they take initiative, and they don't quit. For more information on Air Force Special Warfare, contact me at the number listed below.
U.S. Air Force Special Warfare are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
As a mom, I try to make the best choices for my family and our health. That's why I choose Western Sky Community Care. It's a Medicaid plan with quality health coverage and special benefits like Boys and Girls Club membership credit, additional dental benefits, and wellness and support programs. I decide which Medicaid plan is right for us. I choose Western Sky Community Care.
Learn more about Western Sky Community Care by visiting discoverwesternsky.com today.
International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com. We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
Sports Animal.
All right, let's red zone. So top topics in the NFL, or well, some big topics anyway in the NFL. Let's talk some big stuff.
How much you want to make a bet I can throw a football over the mountains?
Are you crazy? I'm saying you're a football player.
Oh, yeah.
I'm going to Tom Brady this game.
You're in the red zone with Jeff Symbieta and JJ Buck.
Let's go, baby!
It's first and goal.
All right, the odds are in. Yesterday, Joe Burrow slid ahead of Mahomes in the MVP odds. This caught my attention because Burrow's still battling that calf injury. And he could potentially miss time. So I'm asking, do you agree with Vegas on this one?
Not at all. I think Patrick Mahomes is the easy betting favorite for NFL MVP. I'll take him at plus 650. But if you want to make some money, go down that list.
Jalen Hurts?
And it's Jalen Hurts.
So I don't agree with it, but I understand it, and here's why I understand it. It's kind of the Michael Jordan thing here. Is there going to be voter fatigue? Are voters, people who vote for MVP, just going to say we can't give it to him every year? And if it's close, going to say, well, look what he did, and he came back from injury, and he got him to whatever the record is. And so I understand where Vegas is going because I think voters tend to like a variety and not do the same thing. However, I would go with Mahomes as well.
Second and goal.
Ready, down, put.
All right. Also, in Cincinnati, Jamar Chase was recently asked about his wide receiver Mount Rushmore. He said, all right, I'm going to do Calvin Johnson. I got to get Antonio Brown in there. I'd probably throw Cooper Kupp in there because he won the Triple Crown. And Jerry Rice, of course. Who is on your wide receiver Mount Rushmore?
So recency bias. Jerry Rice, absolutely. Wow. I haven't really. I've never thought of my wide receiver Mount Rushmore. I'm going to forget somebody in here. Randy Moss. I love me some DeAndre Hopkins too, but I don't think he's on there. I'm going to go. This isn't going to work, but I'm going to go two guys way off. I thought Lynn Swann wasn't great. He just was great in the Super Bowl. Steve Largent was great.
It's your Mount Rushmore.
Yeah, Steve Largent was great, and Calvin Johnson was really good.
You got to remember, y'all are getting old. We are getting old. And Jamar Chase is growing up, and he's not watching the dudes that are like, oh, can he not be on this list?
Still count.
And so, yeah, he's looked up to different players. And so that's why his recency bias. For me, right off the bat, thinking, Jerry Rice is a no-brainer. He's the wide receiver that you have to have locked in there above everyone else. Randy Moss, highlight every time he touches football. And dudes that I just enjoy watching. I think Megatron is fantastic as well. And then even the duo, Manning when he's still on to Marvin Harrison and Reggie Wayne. Go.
So who is it then? I had Rice, Calvin Johnson, Moss, and I threw in Steve Largent because I thought Steve Largent was unbelievable.
Steve was awesome. Larry Fitzgerald's one I think of.
That's really good too. Yeah.
3rd and goal.
All right, in Tennessee, there is a battle brewing at quarterback. Tannehill is the current starter, but Levis and Willis are turning some heads at camp. Who will be the Titans starter at the end of the season?
End of the year, I believe it will be Ryan Tannehill. I think they're going to be competitive enough, nipping at the heels of the Jacksonville Jaguars, where Ryan Tannehill will start a full season, but this will be his last season as starting quarterback.
Damn, you're pissing me off because I was sure you were going the other way. I wanted to disagree with you, but I think it's going to be Ryan Tannehill too because I think they're going to win games. I think they're good enough. First of all, he's a fine quarterback. Like, he's not great. He's not outstanding. He's a good quarterback in this league. Okay, but they just loaded him up with Antonio Hopkins, and I think Treylon Burks is one of those guys, one of those breakout guys this year. Second-year wide receiver who's going to break out this year. You still got Derrick Henry there, right? Their defense is still pretty decent, right? I think they're going to win some games. I think he stays a quarterback and has them in contention for a playoff spot, and I think Ryan Tannehill's your guy.
4th and goal.
Did I stutter? Beer me.
All right, when we talked about the expectations for Anthony Richardson earlier, JJ mentioned that he wanted to see 600 to 700 rushing yards out of him. Which quarterback leads the league in rushing yards this year, and could we see another one go over 1,000 yards?
I don't think we see a 1,000-yard quarterback, because get down. But I mean, 500 yards is a lot. I think Jalen Hurts is your guy that leads the league in rushing this year as far as quarterback. I think they're trying to reel Lamar in a little bit as he gets older and have him not run. I just don't think Indianapolis is going to be good enough that I think Anthony Richardson is going to get that many yards. I think your guy's Jalen Hurts.
We won't see a 1,000-yard rusher from the quarterback position because Justin Fields is going to be a better quarterback in this. I think leading the league in rushing, to me, it comes down to Justin Fields or Lamar Jackson. And I'm thinking it's going to be Lamar. As much as we talk about the passing offense, I think the passing is going to open things up, and we're still going to see that ability from Lamar Jackson showcase itself.
So you're in the red zone today. 4 downs. Good stuff, man. You come up with good stuff every day. It's actually really good stuff. Who do you think leads the league in rushing, quarterback-wise?
I still lean towards Fields. I think he is going to do a lot more in pass.
You love him. Huh?
I do. I don't know why. His game is nice, and I like what they're doing in Chicago.
Yeah. Text line says Anthony Carter, best receiver. All right. Yeah, I was going like Art Monk kind of stuff too, and I know the Largent thing is just one of those guys that I watched, and
That's the point. It's your Mount Rushmore. That's why Jamar Chase is talking about Cooper Kupp and Antonio Brown.
Antonio Brown's just not on my list for that. I mean, I think he's good. Fitz is the one I left off. Like Fitz is absolutely. What about Terrell Owens? Do you throw him in there?
There's an argument for that for sure.
Right. There's some guys. Do you know? Like, if I threw, let me just give you the. I'm going to go down to 13 because I think you can make an argument. So I'm going to go 13 up. These are the guys leading receivers in the history of the NFL. Chris Carter. No. James Lofton. Do you remember watching James? James Lofton was great.
Yeah, those Bills teams, man, they were fun to watch. They couldn't get over the top, but yeah, that Lofton was real good.
And with the Chargers too. How good was Andre Johnson? Like, terrific, big, strong. I mean, great. Reggie Wayne and Marvin Harrison are 10 and 9. You name those. Did you know Steve Smith Jr. or I'm sorry, Steve Smith Sr. was number 8 on the all-time NFL receiving list? Didn't know that. Tim Brown.
Yep.
Tim Brown was terrific. Not a wide receiver, but Tony Gonzalez is 6th on the all-time receiving list.
That dude was so good.
Isaac Bruce was number 5. Nobody considers him one of the all-time greats.
Isn't he a Hall of Famer?
I believe he is a Hall of Famer.
Everyone gets in the Hall of Fame these days.
4, 3, 2, 1. Randy Moss 4, Terrell Owens 3, Larry Fitzgerald 2. Do you have any idea? Okay, so Larry Fitzgerald is 2nd on the all-time receiving list yardage-wise, okay, at 17,492 yards. Do you have any idea how close he is to Jerry Rice? Like, do you think he was close to catching Jerry Rice or a mile away?
I would think he was somewhat close, but I know Jerry had so many
When
yards
you say somewhat close, what would that be?
Within 5,000.
Within 5,000? 5,000 is a lot of yards, isn't it?
Well, when you're talking about like 80,000 total.
Well, 17,000 for Larry Fitzgerald. 17.
Oh, okay.
17,492, and then Owens is behind him at 15,934. So he's about 1,500 yards ahead of number 3. Jerry Rice is 5,000 yards ahead of him. 22,895. Like, to me, that 5,500, 5,400, that's a chasm to me. 5,400 yards.
6 years? Some receivers
What's
trying to cover that gap.
Yeah. No, it's insane. Look, there's great receivers on here that aren't in the top, bunch yet that are still playing. I mean, Stephon Diggs is still playing, and Travis Kelce's still playing, and DeAndre Hopkins is still playing, and certainly Jamar Chase. You know who the leading active receiver is in the NFL right now? Yards wise? Any idea? I don't know who he's playing for now. I think Tennessee. Julio
Hopkins?
Jones? Julio Jones.
Oh yeah. I guess
D-Hop
totally
is 2.
forgot he was
Hopkins
in.
would be 2nd, and then Deshaun Jackson. Yeah, it's kind of crazy. All right. There's some big man love in Cowboy Camp. Love on the big guy. Boy, it's good to have him back. It's the opening drive on 95.9 FM and AM 610, the Sports Animal.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
We fight the battles no one hears about.
We drop into the middle of firefights to rescue others.
And act as one-man air traffic control towers.
We're the ones who go before all others.
U.S. Air Force Special Warfare are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
These are more than just the sounds of a safe place to go after school. These are the sounds of interest being ignited and of mentors making an impact. At Boys and Girls Clubs, we don't do just one thing. We do whatever it takes to meet the needs of every kid who comes through those doors. Because whatever it takes is what it takes to build great futures. Great futures start here.
Well, I'm going to the frontier, walk up to the cashier, order up a root beer and a number one. Cover it with green stuff, one scoop is not enough. Find a booth is real tough, back by the Duke. Meet my family, meet my friends in the quirkiest restaurant I have ever been. All of Albuquerque's favorite spot, it's the Frontier Restaurant.
The Frontier Restaurant is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
Sometimes it's the small things that make life easier, like never worrying about being declined at an ATM when only cash will do. With your covered from US Eagle, we'll cover you, even if the money's not there. That's a good feeling. And we do it with no extra fees or penalties. It's called trust, and we think that's important, especially if we're asking you to trust us. At US Eagle, that's just part of what it means when we say people mean more.
Don't sacrifice quality and flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, red and green chili breakfast burritos, and Frontier sweet rolls. 4 great locations, or visit us online at goldenprideabq.com. Golden Pride Barbecue Chicken and Ribs are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
Hi everyone, my name is Master Sergeant Jacob Groves. I am a Air Force Special Warfare Pararescueman. Air Force Special Warfare are proud supporters of ProView Network and New Mexico Youth Sports. Air Force Special Warfare operators are critical thinkers. They maintain a high level of fitness, they take initiative, and they don't quit. For more information on Air Force Special Warfare, contact me at the number listed below.
U.S. Air Force Special Warfare are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
Back. What about the big uglies when they get to camp? Well, there's some big man love yesterday and Big D. A lot of high fives, hugs all around once he got in. He being Zach Martin. And that was what Mike McCarthy, the head coach of the Cowboys, had to say. He said, I think that shows you what he means to us and what he means to our football team, especially the offense. Big deal to get the big guy in. What's up? Good morning to you. Welcome to the opening drive. Thanks for being with us today and every day. Appreciate it. If you miss any of the show or want to catch it again, we had Sebastian Noel from ProView Networks talking high school football, which starts tomorrow. Give you an idea of who to watch, who you've got to go see. That'll be wherever you get podcasts, sportsanimалabq.com. Click on the opening drive and listen, or wherever you get podcasts, and you'll be able to find it. What's the state of the offensive line in the National Football League? Like offensive line play. It's funny because JJ was out at Lobo practice yesterday, and one of my biggest concerns with that team, as you well know, is the offensive line. Are they going to be able to protect Dylan Hopkins, the quarterback? And I asked Danny Gonzalez, the head coach, after practice, you're 11 practices in, how do you assess the offensive line? And he said, we've made a lot of progress since we started. He said there is a big gap between the ones and the twos, which concerns me because, well, you always get injuries. There's a story. One of the quotes that from the question I asked him is in Sean Ryder's story in the Journal today. He said, best offensive line we've had by far. The top 5 are pretty solid, and I think they're actually pretty good. But in the NFL, I mean, overall, do you feel, what's the state of offensive line play in the NFL?
I think it's questionable right now.
Really?
Because there's so many teams that are looking for offensive linemen, are trying to find them, and it's a big question mark for contenders. Look at the New York Jets. The thing that's going to hold them back is if they can't figure out their offensive line. And you have so many teams going through bodies and players, and it's a hard position because you can't just be a skill guy and develop, and maybe you're not working out a wide receiver, but defensive back, like things you can do in college. You're either big enough or you're not. And to find the human beings to do that at the highest level it's why, to me, I look at offensive line. I think that was the most important thing for the Dallas Cowboys, getting Zach Martin in. It's figuring out your tackles. It's the realization over the last few years, and we've seen it, that teams are drafting guards in the first round, and that would never happen. You'd be like, it's left tackle or bust at the offensive line. Yeah. Well, wait, now it's like we need to make sure every one of these dudes is really good.
So I'm always amazed at it. I think they play at a disadvantage. And I say this because it feels like while the rules have skewed towards the offense, it doesn't feel that way for the offensive line. Defensive linemen are so much bigger, faster, and more athletic than they were, I don't know, 10, 15, certainly 20 years ago, right? And edge rushers are like how is Aaron Donald so good? How are DeMarcus Wares of the world, right? And I know he's not there anymore, but those kind of guys. And you're looking at a guy who realistically can't use his hands. He's playing backing up all the time, and the rules are against him. The other guys can use their hands and slap and swim and everything, and you've got to keep everything tucked in. I'm amazed at offensive linemen. And for those who don't get the game, and I think unless you've ever played offensive line at a relatively high level, you don't get it. You don't understand, and it's understandable. This isn't, well, you don't, no. I mean, the communication, it's its own organism, basically, right? Yeah. The offensive line is always super tight, but the communication that goes on within the offensive line, the only time you hear their name is, oh, he missed the block there. Oh, it's holding on number 65. Oh, there he is. You know, that's the only time you ever hear their name. It's like when I do games on TV, when I call play-by-play stuff, I really try to point out a block by the lineman or nice protect because they never get the love. Like it is, I don't know that I'm going too far to say this. It is the most underappreciated but highly important position, and I say it because there's 5 positions on there, in all of American sport.
Football guys know this. I think football fan gets it now more so than ever. I mean, even in a world where we're so hyper-focused on skill position players, because that's how a lot of us interact with football. It's through fantasy football, and it's just looking at quarterbacks.
You never draft the left guard?
And running backs, and we don't have the positions yet for offensive linemen in a lot of leagues. But I think just sport fan in general, over the last decade, their just football knowledge is so much better, and they understand the trenches. And that's why every time we talk about the draft, my keys, if I was general manager, like, do I need a quarterback? Nope. But then you got to protect the quarterback and get to the quarterback.
Yeah.
And that starts with the offensive and defensive line.
No, there's no way that's around it. Text line says the last time Dallas had a really good offensive line was in the 90s when they were winning Super Bowls. They've had some problems, and I would argue the last couple of years they've had a pretty good offensive line. He also says, my dumb ace, I met Chris, my dumb arse, I met Chris Carter. What did I say earlier? Did I read it? It said Anthony Carter. Okay. I was like, that's why I was like, all right, I don't think Anthony Carter makes that list, but Chris Carter was a pretty good receiver. Yeah, the offensive line's a big deal, man. And for people who don't get it, and I get it, why would you? Why would you? Nobody watches football. It's not fair. The novice does not watch football and watch the offensive line.
It's interesting, though, because when you listen to these games, there are a ton of offensive linemen that are announcing them.
Hell.
Oh, they are. They know this game so well, and they're so interesting to speak to.
They are so smart. So there's a guy on my board at New Mexico Bowl, and he played football at Tennessee. He was a linebacker. He played at Highland High School and back in the 70s. And he comes out to practice. Like he's with me, on Bowl Week. And I try to get to both teams' practices on Thursday at Bull Week. And he says, "What can I come out with you?" I'm like, "Yeah." So I'll go out and I'll talk to a coach or an SID or an athletic director on the side, and he stands there, arms folded, kind of legs spread, and just watches the offensive line hit each other. And he loves it. It's one of his favorite things. He just sits there and stares because he gets it. Right? It's like he played football at Tennessee back in the 70s and just stares there. And Don, if you're listening, yeah, I'm talking about you. Right? But he just sits there and I love the excitement he gets in watching it. But if you get it, you get it, man. It's and this is where this is. I think, JJ, the biggest key to the Lobo football season this year The big uglies up front. And I watch them.
And
they're bigger. They are bigger.
That's what I was going to say. They pass the eye test. Like, they're dudes. That's the thing that will shock you about. If you haven't been out there, like, every Division I football player, doesn't matter the school, like, they're still gigantic people. Like, they're still so big. But that offensive line, it catches your attention. You're like, okay. Like, that's what an offensive line should look like.
I'll tell you, being out at the practices, and I spent about an hour and a half there yesterday. Caught a little shade under the tree, found a different tree while they're cutting the trees down. This little, my bald
Cutting more trees down? Come on.
My bald melon.
We already lost one.
Just a couple branches, dude.
In the corner. Okay.
But I found some shade because my bald melon was going to get
So I was out there on Monday night.
Monday night.
Under the lights.
Well, I'm going to go out to the scrimmage on Saturday.
Half the lights.
But they look different. They look faster. The playmakers got a little more pop to it, and the offensive line looks bigger to me. And they look better. I mean, we'll see. Like, week 3 is going to be it. Week 1's going to be tough. Week 2 is going to not tell you very much. Week 3, it's the New Mexico State game. Marty, good morning. You're on the Sports Animal. Hello, Marty.
Long time no talk.
What's up, Marty? How are you? Good to hear you.
Good. You guys are talking about the O-line. I think that's the Broncos' problem. I know a lot of it was on Russell Wilson, but Pete Carroll was a low-key good coach in developing offensive linemen, and I think that's been the Broncos' problem for several years. Now, in case of Sean Payton, it may take him a season or two to fix that, because I think that's been the issue with the Broncos. I know a lot of it found Russell Wilson, mistakes, that kind of thing, but I just don't think they've had a very physical, intimidating offensive line for some time. Maybe going back to the Super Bowl run they had, and that's because they picked up some free agents during that little run. But that's my view with the Broncos. I think and you guys were talking about Dallas. I think Dallas has a really good shot to have one of the best offensive line they've had in a while, and they got really lucky with Tyler Smith. But they somehow crank them out. I don't know. That's the thing about the Cowboys. They can't get certain things right. They can get some things right.
Yep.
They find some jewels somehow. But I wanted to make my plug for one of the Mount Rushmore receivers. I know you guys probably are haters, but I got to say one playmaker, Michael Irvin.
That's fair.
And the reason I say this is when he played against Jerry Rice.
Yep.
Jerry Rice was looking over his shoulder to see who the best receiver in the league was.
I think that's totally fair.
So when the best player in the league is looking over your shoulder to see who the best, that tells you something about your opponent.
Well, that's a good call.
And I know he never had the great stats, but guess what? He had Emmitt Smith, so
that's good.
You can't get good stats when you got Emmitt getting the ball all the time. But
no, it's a great call.
Man.
Yep, you're right. Marty, good to hear you, man, and look forward to hearing you during football season. Be well. Marty called us.
I'm back.
Yeah, good to hear you back. Marty called at 505-246-0610. All right, if you're there, stay there. That's the number, 505-246-0610. Got to take this break, but want to hear what you have to say. We're talking about the importance of the O-line, the Lobo O-line, and greatest receivers of all time. Who you got? Not Anthony Carter, but Chris Carter. I'll listen to Michael Irvin. It's not all about stats, dude. Gale Sayers, one of the best running backs ever. He doesn't have the years. Walter Payton doesn't have the stats. One of the best running backs ever. It's the opening drive on 95.9 FM and AM 670 Sports Animal.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. ProView Networks would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. Hans Whitler Automotive, German car maintenance and repair in Albuquerque, New Mexico. Call 505-294-7684 or visit HansWhitlerAuto.com. International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
Hi everyone, my name is Master Sergeant Jacob Groves. I am a Air Force Special Warfare Pararescueman. Air Force Special Warfare are proud supporters of ProView Network and New Mexico Youth Sports. Air Force Special Warfare operators are critical thinkers. They maintain a high level of fitness, they take initiative, and they don't quit. For more information on Air Force Special Warfare, contact me at the number listed below.
U.S. Air Force Special Warfare are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
For your surprisingly great race, contact your local State Farm agent today.
If you want the real deal, call State Farm agent Marty Size in Albuquerque today.
Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
ProView Networks would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. Hans Whitler Automotive, German car maintenance and repair in Albuquerque, New Mexico. Call 505-294-7684 or visit HansWhitlerAuto.com.
We fight the battles no one hears about.
We drop into the middle of firefights to rescue others.
And act as one-man air traffic control towers.
We're the ones who go before all others.
U.S. Air Force Special Warfare are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
Well, I'm going to the frontier, walking to the cashier, order up a root beer and a number one. Cover it with green stuff, one scoop is not enough. Find a booth that's real tough, back by the Duke. Meet my family, meet my friends in the quirkiest restaurant I have ever been. All of Albuquerque's favorite spot, it's the Frontier Restaurant.
The Frontier Restaurant is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
The snap count.
You do. And you know where you're going.
For the most part, you know where you're going.
Yep.
The defender has to react to where you're going. So I think that's a disadvantage right there. And I personally think that OL has gotten easier over the years. 15, 20, 25 years ago, when the running game was a lot more prevalent, a lot more pulling guards, a lot more sweeps, a lot more activity.
So you got more pass
Now
protection.
there's a lot of area blocking, especially with the RPO, and you're just responsible for an area. And I will say to your effect, I think defensive linemen have become so much more physical now, a lot more fast. They're a lot faster now, and there's so many different types of schemes now. I think that's a lot more difficult. But I think 20 years ago, 25 years ago, I think it was a lot harder to be an offensive lineman than it is now.
It's interesting. I respect that, Vincent. I appreciate the call because those are good points, and thank you. All right, so a couple of things. I think he's right on the snap count, you know where you're going. I think schemes have become so different over the last decade and a half, the stunting, the crossing. Defensive linemen, you get to use your hands way more. The plays in front of you, right? You see where the ball is, where the quarterback is, where offensive lineman, it's behind you. You know where it's supposed to go, but you don't know what happens when it's off schedule. So I'm not either one of them is not tough, but I respect that. Harder position, D or offensive line? Oof. Yeah, that's a fair answer. Oof.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
And what they're asked to do, it is different. And you talk to offensive linemen, I think it's interesting on the point that was just brought up and on how the game has changed. More area blocking, but a lot more pass blocking too. And that's offensive linemen will tell you that's probably where they're the most uncomfortable, is when they have to be on their heels versus being able to go downhill.
Adolph, good morning. You're on the Sports Animal. Hello, sir.
Hey, good morning. Morning. Jeff, I got to take issue with you when you said that Walter Payton didn't have the numbers. Now, I'm driving now, so I don't have the access to the computer. But
I'll get them for you.
Didn't Walter end up with over 14,000 yards rushing? And wasn't he the first person that actually broke Jim Brown's rushing records to lead prior to Barry Sanders?
You're
and
right.
Emmett Smith?
No, you're 100% right. He's second. I was wrong on that. You're 100% right. He absolutely is up there. He's second leading rusher in the history of the NFL. Yes.
And I had the opportunity to watch both he and Gale Sayers, carry the rock. The other thing, with regard to the offensive linemen, yes, they've gotten bigger, faster, obviously stronger from the 60s and 70s and 80s, etc. But the one thing that I've noticed here, and it is the one constant, they must have the ability to move their feet quickly to get into position. I don't care what area you're speaking of. Okay, I'm going back to the 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, the 2000s. You must have quick feet. It is not enough to simply have weight. You have to have the ability to move and to adjust your angles. Anyway, but that's all I've got now. I'm out.
No, see you. Thank you for that. And thanks for the correct. I was wrong. Flat out wrong. Walter Payton is the second leading rusher. And I was thinking more of a guy like Marshall Faulk, who didn't have the years, or some of those guys. But no, Walter Payton played long enough. But Gale Sayers was my key on that. I mean, one of the best you may have ever seen. He just doesn't have the numbers that would prove it. I would have thought Barry Sanders would be that too. Do you know Barry Sanders, the fourth leading rusher in the history of the NFL? Even with his shortened career?
Think he could have got a second contract?
Do you know who number 3 is? It was stunning. If I said Emmitt Smith is 1, Walter Payton 2, Barry Sanders 4. Do you know who the third, in terms of yardage gained, rushing in the National Football League? Yeah, and if I asked you if he's a Hall of Famer, you go, well, I don't know. Do you know who the third leading rusher yardage-wise in the history of the NFL is? Guy who played in a recent era.
Is it Adrian Peterson?
He's 5th. So that's actually a really good call. He's 5th. Frank Gore.
Good old Frank Gore.
Would you have ever come up with Frank Gore?
I talked myself off of it, but he played for so long that actually isn't that surprising.
Stunning to me, actually.
Mr. Reliable.
No, he was really good. Niners, Colts, Dolphins, Bills, Jets. But I would never, like he would not have even jumped into my mind as the third leading rusher in the history of the NFL. Hall of Famer? Out of the top 16 rushers in the history of the NFL, only 2 guys are not in the Hall of Fame, and I don't think they're eligible yet. No, neither one of them are eligible yet. It's Frank Gore and Adrian Peterson. Does that automatically make them Hall of Famers? Top 16. Emmitt Smith, Walter Payton, Barry Sanders, Curtis Martin, LaDainian Thomas, and Jerome Bettis.
Top 3, like Gore's got it. That's where I'm like, okay, you put that at work.
I guess he's a Hall of Famer, right?
Yes.
16,000 yards.
Yeah, right on the nut.
Isn't that wild? I saw that. I thought that must be a typo.
Yeah, right on the number. 60, average 4.3 yards per carry, which is more than Emmitt Smith did, which is more than Curtis Martin, which is more than Jerome Bettis, which is what LaDainian Tomlinson averaged, which is what Tony Dorsett averaged, which is what Marshall Faulk averaged, more than Marcus Allen or Franco Harris or Thurman Thomas, or Edgerrin James. I don't know that I would have thought him to be a Hall of Famer, but, I mean, you can give me that number? Yeah.
16 seasons, 16,000 yards. I think he's probably in.
He's in.
Have you seen his son?
I've not.
Oh, let me pull this up.
All right, who's his son? Like, who's his son playing for? He's got to be pretty good. I did not know that. That's actually pretty good stuff. 505-246-0610. Keep them coming, by the way. Keep them coming. It's really good conversation. Jerry Rice, most receiving touchdowns, says the text line. Okay.
So Frank Gore Jr. had 329
At Miami?
yards. No, he
played at the University of Miami, didn't he?
Gore did, yeah. But Junior goes to Southern Miss.
Okay.
And he had 329 rushing yards in his bowl game last year.
At Southern Miss?
Yeah.
They played in the Mobile game against Rice, right? In what's now called the 68 Ventures Bowl, but it was called something else last year. Is that correct? Down in Mobile? Wow, that's something. 300-something, 20-something yards. That's like Gartrell Johnson back in New Mexico Bowl 3.
Yeah.
Remember that day?
Colorado State.
He put up 375 yards from scrimmage that day. That was nuts, by the way. One of the best all-time bowl performances ever. All right, this is good stuff. You can keep it coming, 505-246-0610. Since we're talking about linemen, and we had such a big conversation about this yesterday, the Tuohys, the family in the Michael Orr story, they had their say yesterday. And they claim that Michael Orr tried to shake them down for a whole lot of cash before he went public with this. This story's not done. It's the opening drive on 95.9 FM and AM 610. The Sports Animal.
The Jim Rome Show.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
In their offense.
For your surprisingly great rates, contact your local State Farm agent today.
If you want the real deal, call State Farm agent Marty Size in Albuquerque today.
Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Hi, my name is Daniel Chavez, and this is my business partner, David Chavez. We are the owners of Indeed Safety. Indeed Safety is a local safety consulting company helping our clients with their safety needs for their projects.
One of the things we pride ourselves as a construction safety company is helping our men and women in construction get home safe every day to their families. Indeed Safety is a proud supporter of ProView Network.
Networks would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. Hans Whitler Automotive, German car maintenance and repair in Albuquerque, New Mexico. Call 505-294-7684 or visit hanswhitlerauto.com.
These are more than just the sounds of a safe place to go after school. These are the sounds of interest being ignited and of mentors making an impact. At Boys and Girls Clubs, we don't do just one thing. We do whatever it takes to meet the needs of every kid who comes through those doors. Because whatever it takes is what it takes to build great futures. Great futures start here.
As a mom, I try to make the best choices for my family and our health. That's why I choose Western Sky Community Care. It's a Medicaid plan with quality health coverage and special benefits like Boys and Girls Club membership credit, additional dental benefits, and wellness and support programs. I decide which Medicaid plan is right for us. I choose Western Sky Community Care.
Learn more about Western Sky Community Care by visiting discoverwesternsky.com today.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
Everguard Roofing and Solar. For nearly 20 years, Everguard Roofing and Solar has been working with New Mexicans to enhance their
stereotype and generalization, but offensive linemen are known, and again, exceptions always, to be pretty smart dudes. It's kind of like catchers. You know, how many catchers in Major League Baseball become managers? Think of Bruce Bochy, how good of a manager he is, and I mean, just you know, there's many. Mike Scioscia was a catcher who was a really good manager for a long time. I mean, there's a lot of really good managers who are catchers. And again, not a rule, but I don't know. Do you go with defensive line is better athletes? Well, they're faster, tend to be right. They tend to run a faster 40 time, right?
Yeah, they might be quick around the edge, but to back up and block that guy who can start from an upright position,
who can use his hands, who sees where's the play's going, it's in front of him, it's behind you, who's allowed to push, you're not allowed to take your hands outside of your body, who has all the advantage. Yeah.
Yeah, I find that to be quite athletic,
well,
really.
So I make this contention all the time. When people tell me he's a better athlete, well, there's different kinds of athletic. Right? And people tell me, well, runners aren't athletes. Anybody can train to run fast. Well, that's not really right. I mean, you can train to run, but you're an athlete if you run. Right? Well, golfers aren't athletes. I don't know. Have you ever seen a football player try to hit a golf ball?
Yes, I have.
There's different kinds of athletes, right?
Yeah, very much so.
I remember, I always go back to this. Back when I first got Channel 7, I remember going out to the practice fields, football fields, and Dave Bliss was the head basketball coach at UNM. And Dave Bliss had his whole basketball team. And look, this was a really good basketball program. These were athletes, dude. Kenny Thomas and Charles Smith and Clayton Shields. This was a basketball program that not only went to the NCAA tournament 4 years in a row, DC, but won a game in the NCAA tournament 4 years in a row. And he went out, and it was kind of a fun thing in the summer. And, you know, had TV guys come out and had them try to throw a baseball and hit a golf ball and throw a football, right? And watch these guys who are unbelievable athletes that could fly through the air and dunk, but they couldn't hit a baseball.
Oh, my goodness.
Couldn't, try to hit a golf ball, forget it. And you're going to say, well, Jeff, it's just foreign. They couldn't throw a baseball. So there's different kinds of athletes. A guy who's a pole vaulter is a different athlete than someone who's a swimmer, than is a runner, than is a rower, than is a golfer. But I'm amazed at athleticism. So if you're going to tell me, is a defensive lineman more athletic? I'll tell you he's faster than the offensive lineman. But I don't know, man. There's different kinds of athleticism.
You make such a good point with the watch him try and play another sport. At the celebrity softball event before the home run derby, you had Von Miller, DK Metcalf, a few other footballers, but those two stood out because they couldn't swing, they couldn't throw. DK Metcalf is like a world-class runner.
He's an Adonis, dude. Look at his body.
Look up him swinging a bat. People were expecting him to like knock it out of the park. He couldn't. He didn't even know how to hold it. It seemed like.
Now you could tell me, well, he could learn to do that if he practiced. Like maybe he could. But there's different sorts of athletes, man. Like the guy who plays basketball. You know, who never gets the credit for being what I think are some of the greatest athletes on the planet? Hockey players.
Oh, great point. Yeah.
What they do on skates, just the skating skill alone is unbelievable.
Going 25 miles an hour from a dead stop is
and then watch
amazing.
the skill, their puck handling skills and their elusiveness and their speed. Yeah. All right. The Michael Orr blindside thing, I don't know why this is hitting now. This is a 20-year-old story. This is everything about this is disturbing, okay? Blindside, the Sandra Bullock story with Quentin Aaron playing Michael Orr. The great feel-good, award-winning film. Well, Michael Orr's come out this week, essentially, the former lineman, who it was his story, said that the Tennessee family that took him in, tricked him into a conservatorship and took all the proceeds and whatever. The Toohey family, that's the family, and their attorney, Martin Singer, issued a statement. And they are now claiming that not only are the claims by Michael Orr outlandish and offensive and transparently ridiculous, but that Michael Orr tried to get $15 million out of them before he went public. Now, you could say, well, he was owed that $15 million. But here is the statement from the family's attorney. In reality, the Tooheys opened their home to Mr. Orr, offered him structure, support, and most of all, unconditional love. They have consistently treated him like a son of one of their 3 children. His response was to threaten them, including saying that he would plant a negative story about them in the press unless they paid him $15 million, end quote. Orr's attorney said, quote, "We try cases in the courtroom based on facts. We have confidence in our judicial system and in our client, Michael Orr. We believe that justice will be served in the courtroom and we hope to get there quickly," end quote. This will be settled at a court, I'm certain. The Orrs have said that they have no opposition to the termination of their guardianship and will not hesitate to defend their good names and stand up to this shakedown and defeat this offensive lawsuit. So they're fine. We'll terminate the conservatorship, whatever. Conservatorships blow my mind. This whole thing that I can somehow, you sign a piece of paper and I can control your finances moving forward and you're a grown-ass legal adult.
The thing is, though, it's not just signing the paper. There's a whole process that leads up to it. They interview people, everyone involved. I've seen it firsthand. It's not like they just showed up with a piece of paper. That's not how it works.
All right, so how do you feel if Michael Orr actually went to them and said, look, you guys have been making money off me for years. I want my share. Give me $15 million or I'm going to the press. If that's, again, yesterday was the other side of the story, and we were saying if this is true, it sounds horrible. It sounds like, again, that this rich white family took advantage of this poor African-American kid, and they used him. And that was yesterday's version of the story. Today it's, well, now he's coming back and he tried to blackmail them or bilk them out of $15 million. I don't know where the story is. It lies somewhere in between. But if he went to them and said, give me my $15 million or I'm going to the press.
That feels like a shakedown, because when you really think about the history, he had multiple contracts with the NFL that they would have had to approve and sign. He's had multiple books that have been bestsellers. There's certainly a contract there that had to be signed. If they have to be involved in all the contracts, he certainly knew that he was on this. This wasn't a surprise to him. So I'm having a really hard time with this.
I'm having a hard time with it too.
I know they made $200 million off of the fast food chain they sold. So I mean,
who did?
The Toohey family.
Did they really?
Yeah. Oh yeah. They've got good money.
Well, I mean, obviously they had money before they took him in. I look at this and I don't know if this is a no good deed goes unpunished story, right? Did this family take in this boy and help him, or did they take him in to take advantage of it?
So Another thing I learned yesterday afternoon, I believe they were actually the third or fourth family that he ended up with. He spent some time with a coach, a principal, and I believe a teacher from the Christian school he went to before getting to that.
All right. And again, that doesn't. The kids in foster care go through a lot of homes. It's a really rough way to grow up. It's a really rough way to grow up. And like I said yesterday, I mean, is this going to dissuade some people from being foster parents? And I hope not, because, in fact, I'm going to an event Friday night for the Heart Gallery Foundation, which is about finding children forever homes, foster care, and then adoptive parents. And I hope this doesn't dissuade, and I would think it doesn't. I don't know where the truth lies in here. I really don't. I'd like to believe that this family didn't just, first of all, there's no way to know he was going to make it. Now you're going to say, Jeff, look at him. The kid was that big, that good. He went to Ole Miss and whatever. They knew he was going to cash in. And they signed the conservatorship and they stole his money. Okay. The other side of the story is, well, they took this young man who needed some love and some structure and they brought him in. Now, never mind the movie. The movie where he said, he couldn't read, he couldn't write, and I mean that's Hollywood. That's a bad look for Michael Oher. I feel bad for that. I know Quentin Aaron a little bit, the actor who played Michael Oher, and that's if Quentin was sitting right here, is very much like the character that was in the movie. I mean, it's kind of Quentin's very, very much like that. And again, portrayal. I don't know Michael Oher. I know the actor, but everything about this story really bothers. Like everything, because obviously there was some trust game there, right? Obviously Michael Oher was brought in and felt comfortable. And learning what you're telling me, there were more homes and more homes and more homes that he was in before. Finally, it felt like he found a family and a home that he felt cared about. Now, did they? I don't know, man. I don't know the Tuohys. But I'm listening to both sides of the story, and I want to puke.
Yeah, that is the feeling I walk with too. There's just both sides. There just seems like there's something we're going to hear about that's probably going to totally change our opinion on it.
Right? And the Tuohys had to come out and defend themselves. If it's true, and I don't know, I mean, usually there's a text or an email or a recording somewhere of when there's shakedowns, right? If you don't give me my $15 million, how's that going to play out? If there is a recording, if there is a text, if you don't give me my $15 million, and I don't know what his fair share would be. Obviously, he's due some money. I think the one thing that's obvious here, if he didn't get any money off of that movie, he is due some money. Do we all agree that?
Yeah, I think that's.
I mean, it's his damn story, and if the family all made money on selling that story, whether it was what was it, $225,000 plus 2.5%,
something like that. Yeah.
All right, give him his damn money. Like, yeah, he's due that. And if you're telling me that they made $200 million selling their fast food chain, take care of this young man. Right? But after that, the whole rest of the story, I want to take a flipping shower.
Yeah, I know. There's just something real dirty about it.
505-246-0610 is how you get a hold of these sports animals. Michael Jordan couldn't smell a baseball. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, right? Like Michael Jordan was the greatest basketball player we've ever seen. At least I have. Right? But for some reason, he wasn't a great baseball player because it's different. It's hard. Keep them coming. We're going to wrap it up. I'm going to get you up to date on everything you need to know as you go through your day today. What everybody's going to be talking about, you'll be armed with the knowledge. It's the opening drive on 95.9 FM and AM 610 Sports Animal.
This is Boomer Esiason with the CBS Sports Minute. The Big Ten is in preliminary talks to hold its conference championship in America's hottest city. Literally, Sports City, Las Vegas, folks. Since the inception of the Big Ten's conference championship in 2011, the contest has been staged in Indianapolis. But with 4 Pac-12 teams set to join next year, the conference may want to nationalize its image, and Vegas would be a great place to do it. I'm Boomer Esiason.
I've always loved a good meatball sub and a really great pizza. In fact, I've dreamt for years of a land where pizza and meatball subs could coexist in harmony, that somehow I could eat them both at the same time. Well, today my mind exploded because Firehouse Subs just made that dream a reality with the pepperoni pizza meatball sub. It's a mashup of Italian meatballs, marinara, extra provolone, crispy pepperoni, and Italian seasoning on a toasted garlic roll. Firehouse Subs, I love you. Perhaps more than any woman I've ever loved in my entire life. Don't ask. Order on the Firehouse Subs app, and a medium pepperoni pizza meatball sub is just $6. Then pick it up at the Rapid Rescue to Go station inside of
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. Everguard Roofing and Solar for nearly
For your surprisingly great rates, contact your local State Farm agent today.
If you want the real deal, call State Farm agent Marty Size in Albuquerque today.
Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
For your business or your home, Valley Fence stands alone. We're number one in New Mexico for a reason. It's the best fence you can own. Proudly serving New Mexico for over 50 years. At Valley Fence, the difference is clear. No fence too big, too small, or difficult. We handle them all at Valley Fence Company.
Hi, my name is Daniel Chavez, and this is my business partner, David Chavez. We are the owners of Indeed Safety. Indeed Safety is a local safety consulting company helping our clients with their safety needs for their projects.
One of the things we pride ourselves as a construction safety company is helping our men and women in construction get home safe every day to their families. Indeed Safety is a proud supporter of ProView Network.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. Rudy's is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
We fight the battles no one hears about.
We drop into the middle of firefights to rescue others.
And act as one-man air traffic control towers.
We're the ones who go before all others.
U.S. Air Force Special Warfare are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
Don't sacrifice quality and flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, red and green chili breakfast burritos, and Frontier sweet rolls. 4 great locations, or visit us online at goldenprideabq.com. Golden Pride Barbecue Chicken and Ribs are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides
inside.
I actually just read something on Bloomberg Law.
Yeah.
It's very interesting. The judge in the case told Bloomberg Law that no filings came before his desk over the last 19 years.
So why now?
That's such a good question.
Yeah, it's really weird. All right. 505-246-0610. Sean, good morning. How you living?
I'm doing well, gentlemen. How's it going?
It's good. It's good to hear you.
I emerged from the darkness just like my new quarterback did, and life's good for Jets fans at the moment.
You haven't lost a damn game yet, have you?
Hey, haven't lost a damn game.
Yeah, that's good.
And I just want to see more of Zach Wilson.
What more do you want to see him do?
I actually want to see him go through progressions. Yeah, that long bomb in the Hall of Fame game was great. But I want to see actual game time for Zach.
Okay.
I want to see what he's been doing the entire offseason.
All right.
But I have a couple of quarterbacks for you guys. Mr. Theismann or Theismann, however you want to say it.
Yep.
Miami had his rights, traded to Washington. The injury kind of derailed everything, but I think he had like 8 years there.
He was in Miami?
Yeah, Miami had the rights to him. I think he was playing in the CFL.
That one I didn't
know.
know.
And he traded his rights to Washington.
All right, that's a good one. I did not know that one. All right. What else you got?
And Fran Tankerton.
He was with the Giants.
From the Vikings to the Giants, back to the Vikings.
Yeah, that's really good. That might be the best one of all of them, actually. He went to 3 Super Bowls. He didn't go to all 4. He went to 3 Super Bowls. But, yeah, after he went from the Giants to the Vikings, he went to 3 Super Bowls. That's a really good one. All right.
And wide receiver for you guys before I go.
Yep.
He may not have had the best yards ever, but best blocking wide receiver I've ever seen, Hines Ward.
That's really good, too. All right. No, man, where you been? I freaking miss you with knowledge like that. All right. Be good. Go take care of that woofie. See you, Sean.
I'll be back, folks. Have a good one.
Later. He's a big Jets fan. And that's a dude, you'll get to know him. Worry about him. Like, there's been some bad Jets losses, and it's like, you got to put out the bat signal. Because anybody seen Sean? He enjoys, he might enjoy the Irish whiskey a little bit. And you worry about him. But, I mean, Jet fans feel really good about themselves. So we were talking, if you're just joining us, we were talking about quarterbacks in their second act. Like Matthew Stafford went from the Lions to the Rams, won a Super Bowl. Tom Brady won a Super Bowl in Tampa Bay after all that success somewhere else. Jim Plunkett. But how many quarterbacks had really good success, not with their original team? And Eli and Rivers don't count because they never played for their original team. John Elway didn't play for his original team. But guys like that, Targent is a terrific one.
Yeah, it really is. I never got to see him in person, but going back and
he went to 3 Super Bowls and.
Right, yeah. So seeing some of those highlights and things, I totally get that. I think that's a good call.
He didn't win a Super Bowl.
No, but getting there 3 times, I give anyone credit if you can get there 3 times.
No, I mean, and that team went 4 years in a row. How do you feel about a team like the Bills and the Vikings? The Vikings back in the day, the Bills back in a more recent day. 4 Super Bowls, not win one. Would you rather go to 4 in a row and not win one, or not have that agony and not be that team?
I think the ride for 4 years.
Yeah, the answer is be there, right?
Yeah.
People say, I'd rather not go than lose 4 in a row. No, you wouldn't.
No, that run every year, I bet, was just so much fun in Buffalo.
Yeah, and then they were almost there wide right on one of them. That's how Parcells won one, right? They lost to the Giants on the wide right.
Yep.
Scott Norwood.
That's right.
When you know a kicker's name sometimes, it's kind of like if you know an umpire's name. You know an offensive lineman's name.
Holding 72, Garrett Bowles.
Right? I mean, you kind of remember those? Yeah, those ones get you. Man, you've been all over the text line day. We got like 2 pages worth of text that came in today. You can keep doing it. 505-246-0610. Remember, if you missed part of the show, you can catch it via podcast. It's available wherever you get your podcast. You can go to our website, sportsanimalabq.com. Click on the opening drive, and then everything's there for you. The Sebastian Noel conversation from ProView Networks on high school sports is there from this morning, where we talked about who you got to watch. It starts tomorrow, and so who you've got to watch tomorrow at 9:30. Darren from Game Vision is going to be with us, and we're going to get into a little bit about how you can watch the games. It's a little bit different this year than it has been in the past as far as viewing high school stuff, getting the streams. And I think it's going to be better for you in the long run. But it's, change is always hard. And so we'll get into that a little bit tomorrow at 9:30 so you can get into it, get into that. Hey, I want to end on this. Did you catch Messi yesterday?
I did. I didn't watch the whole game.
They haven't lost, right? So they haven't played MLS. They're Miami is in the League's Cup final.
That's right.
All right, Miami was in last place in their league, and they still are because they haven't played any league games since he's been there. They've taken a pause. But it's unbelievable. They won 4-1 yesterday over the Philadelphia Union at Subaru Park. 9th goal in 6 matches. Okay, I saw yesterday, I don't know how long Miami, the Inter Miami has been around. He's like the 3rd or 4th leading scorer in the history of that club already.
Wow.
He's played 6 matches.
9 goals in 6 matches is completely insane. But I think the stat you just threw out actually blows my mind more.
Right?
I need to see how long they've been around.
Yeah, I don't know. I think it was, if I'm not mistaken. But he is the best thing that happened to soccer in America since ever. When Pele joined the New York, I want to say it was the New York Cosmos back in the day. Like, that was big, but you didn't have the media presence that you have now. It wasn't now. That was big, and Pele was at the end. This dude doesn't appear to be close to the end. And I keep asking the question, is where he came from that much better soccer than what we're watching in these leagues? Because he is dominating. He looks like you playing against your kids. Doesn't he?
He does. I've never seen anything like it in pro sports. Just to come to this league and take over in like 2 weeks, it's
that's really good. Is there a comparison?
I can't think of one. I mean, in
American pro sports, somebody just showing up on the scene and being that dude and making such an insane difference. I mean, like the goal he yesterday was from 40 yards out and it never got off the ground. And I don't know, was that just bad goalkeeping yesterday? The goal that from that far out, whatever, he scored.
He scored. It went in. So I mean, it's probably a little on the goalie, but still, it didn't put itself in there. So
yeah no, I mean, it wasn't like his most impressive goal, but all dude does is score.
I think about Wayne Gretzky a little bit when I think about, because he came from Edmonton and basically opened up hockey in California.
Well, but when he burst on the scene in Edmonton too, how good he was. By the way, I don't know if I've ever said this when you've been here. I've said this before. Wayne Gretzky, to me, best nickname in the history of sports. The Great One.
Yeah.
Period.
That's the one.
Keep your K-Dubs and J. Wills and all that. The Great One. Period. Who are you? I mean, I don't call myself, and he never calls himself that. It's not like the guy calling himself the king. He's the Great One.
Love it.
Done. Thanks to Sebastian Noel, voice of the people. He was with us today from ProView Networks. Jim Rome Show is next. The Herd with Colin Cowards after that. 2 Men Ons here at 4, and then it's the Isotopes and the Chihuahuas tonight with Josh Sushan. We're back with award-winning radio tomorrow morning at 7 a.m. Great job, DC. Glad you're here. Adrian, great work. Be good to each other, please. Be kind, loving, caring, and sharing. We'll smell you tomorrow.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast. ProView Networks would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. Hans Whitler Automotive, German car maintenance and repair in International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
Hi everyone, my name is Master Sergeant Jacob Groves. I am a Air Force Special Warfare pararescueman. Air Force Special Warfare are proud supporters of ProView Network. and New Mexico youth sports. Air Force Special Warfare operators are critical thinkers. They maintain a high level of fitness, they take initiative, and they don't quit. For more information on Air Force Special Warfare, contact
For your surprisingly great rates, contact your local State Farm agent today.
If you want the real deal, call State Farm agent Marty Size in Albuquerque today.
Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Hello, fellow Highland Hornets. I am honored to be selected as a Highland Hall of Fame member alongside such amazing people and competitors of our past. I grew up
school. My brother and I graduated to Highland High School, 96 for him, 97 for me. You know, Jared Baxter here. I first want to say I'm honored to be here making this video. I couldn't be there in person. Jared Baxter here. I first want to say I'm honored. You know, they were a big influence on my life.